It's a huge game at the top and at the bottom of the Barclays Premier League, and you can enjoy it with us in full here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Your commentary team this Monday night here at Old Trafford: Alan Green, the former England manager, and Sir Alex Ferguson's former assistant Steve McClaren, and first of all our chief football correspondent Mike Ingham.
Thank you, Mark. Steve McClaren was talking earlier in the programme about the drive United would have had since the very last day of last season when they lost the title. But it's actually a year ago today when maybe they lost the title. They were at home to Everton and were twice in front in the game and drew 4-4. And I know that's one game Sir Alex looks back at now and thinks that was an absolutely pivotal fixture, Steve.
Well, I think that, and plus the last day and everything that went on, he will know every game, every incident that cost him the title last season, starting from the beginning, what players are recruited, who he let go, all the decisions that he made. He'll review them, he'll sit down at the end of the season, know by what inches, centimetres that they missed out on the title, and what he's done, he's rectified it, textbook style, got the attitude right, bought Robin van Persie, got the goals, got the attitude, and have run away with this league.
I've already got my first bout of cramp of the night, by the way, here. How long have we got here? 2 hours. If you have a word with him afterwards, by the way, Sir Alex, can he get him to give us a bit more legroom in this press box? Anyway, this is his team tonight. De Gea in goal, Raphael, Jones, Evans and Evra. Valencia, Carrick, Kagawa, Giggs, Rooney and Van Persie. There was a bit of speculation around, wasn't there, about whether Rooney would play tonight? He does.
He does. What I'm interested to see is how they will line up, because Rooney lined up as basically a number 10 behind Robin van Persie against West Ham, and he was disappointing, kept coming too deep, didn't play the position, eventually went out wide and eventually went off. So I'm interested to see where Kagawa plays and where Rooney plays. Will one play on the left and one on number 10? Interested to see that.
Now Aston Villa, one change, and they've got Agbonlahor back for young Bowery. Their team, and there are, as we've been saying on the programme, so many talented young players. If they can survive, they must surely move on from this situation. Their team, Guzan in goal, then the back four of Loughton, Vlaar, Baker and Bennett. Westwood and Delph sitting in midfield. Agbonlahor and Zogbia, Weimann and Benteke. Anthony Taylor is the referee. Apart from a blip against Liverpool, Villa have had a decent run lately. But Manchester United playing the way they like to in the first half, from left to right, begin the game, and they work it across to the left-hand side. Evra's ball in, flicked on by Van Persie, looking for Kagawa. Aston Villa already being contained inside their own half, but Delph does well. And the free kick is given by Anthony Taylor.
Interesting, mate. We talked about the lineup, and Rooney is playing as a controller alongside Carrick. Giggs on the left, Kagawa now up front and him behind Robin van Persie, and maybe that's because last week Rooney was coming too deep and Sir Alex has said, well, you can start deep now and make your runs from that position, and Kagawa's more forward supporting Van Persie.
Is this a role you could see him filling more and more in the future, or is this just a one-off tonight, Rooney?
I think this may be just a one-off. I think he's more attacking than that. But I think he's just looking for a position, Sir Alex, where Rooney is comfortable in this system, where he will be disciplined and do a job for the team.
Well, you're listening to 5 Live. Steve McClaren with us here tonight at Old Trafford, just underway. Manchester United against Aston Villa. And Rooney in the deep for Manchester United, hits the ball brilliantly to this right-hand side. Collected by Valencia. Van Persie's in the penalty area. Valencia taking on the fullback, just forced to check. Gives it back to Raphael. Dink ball in from Raphael, not cleared by Villa. Giggs knocks it back in, and Van Persie's there to score from close range. And Manchester United, within a minute and a half, score through Robin Van Persie, their player of the season.
Mike, I think that was a perfect example of what we talked about at the beginning of the game. Rooney got the ball off the back four, and what he's capable of doing is hitting them 60-yard passes across the field. He did that to Valencia, and what you found, Valencia back to Raphael, who crossed into the box. Giggs, Kagawa, Robin van Persie, 3 players in the box. When you've got 3 players in the box, you're always likely to score, and Robin van Persie, far post, did just that.
Could Villa have dealt with that better, Steve?
As always, I don't think Villa defend crosses very well at all. They've not done it all season. Didn't defend at the back post against Giggs and didn't mark in the middle. Poor goal on behalf of Villa.
Well, Villa were the last team to stop Manchester United from scoring in the Premier League at Old Trafford, but not tonight. And, you know, just in case there were any little jitters around the place, that settled down Manchester United, obviously.
Well, I hope it does settle them, but I hope they keep the tempo. I hope they keep the tempo high, keep being positive and going forward, and being ruthless, which they've been all season.
Valencia right-hand side. The night, though, is very much also about Aston Villa's survival bid. In comes across, and Van Persie's there! And again, Villa didn't cut it out. Goossland didn't come for it either. Watches the ball sail over his crossbar. Robin Van Persie, inside the first 3 minutes, might have had 2 goals.
Unbelievable. Another cross again. Just a simple ball into the box from Valencia. Deflected, didn't stop the cross, number one. Zla, so weak on the cross, allowed Van Persie. Ball over his head. Great volley, nearly 2-0.
Out comes Paul Lambert. He's got these talented players we've mentioned, if he can get them on the ball, but the question mark is obviously whether they can contain Manchester United, and clearly so far they've got problems. 1-0 to Manchester United. Robin Van Persie, the goal scorer. Villa a little rattled, and they're at the moment struggling to cross the halfway line. They're playing the ball around a little too quickly. Nzogbia's header has given the ball away, and now Raphael comes in down this right-hand side, and it drops to the feet of Benteke. Not much on for him, Benteke. Moves it well down the right-hand side. Here comes the young fullback, Loughton. Into the area goes Weimann, and it goes to Weimann. Johnny Evans was there taking care of business. Gets the ball to Rooney, and Rooney's clearance to nobody in the end. It was aimed towards Valencia. It was slightly overhit, and Bennett retrieves the ball.
That's good for Villa. They got back into the game, won a few tackles. Benteke spread it wide. And the strength of Aston Villa is also these fullbacks. Although not defensively, they can attack, and Loughton got forward, delivered a great cross, and Weimann in the box nearly got on the end of it.
Just looking to see how Villa are playing at the moment. Weimann seems to be the man in the hole at the moment, with Nzogbia over on the right-hand side, Agbonlahor supporting Benteke, and now Villa just trying to get a foothold here. 1 goal down, give the ball away, dealt straight to the other number 16, Carrick. Now Giggs inside the centre circle. 1-0 to Manchester United already. Van Persie from close range. Kagawa loses his way in midfield, and now Villa look to Delph. Delph's back pass, though, to the excellent Brad Guzan, who clears left-footed into the Manchester United half. Tried to head it on there, Benteke. Raphael to deal with it, but not particularly well. Benteke again, this talented Belgian player, one of many great Belgian players around at the moment. Ball down the right-hand side, and given away in the end. I don't quite know what Nzogbia was trying to achieve. It's a goal kick to Manchester United.
No, it's very strange. Normally Nzogbia is in behind Benteke. Now we've got Weimann. But I think they're flexible, and that's what you need. If you've got a front four who are pacey, good ability, and can play flexible, you can move them around. I was disappointed in Nzogbia there. 1-on-1 against Evra. Should have taken him on.
He's a mercurial player, Nzogbia. You never quite know what you're going to get from day to day from him. On his day, magnificent. Scored a terrific goal in the last game against Fulham, and then an own goal from Delph made it 1-1, which was a disappointing result for Villa, knowing they were coming here next. And next Monday they'll be at home to Paulo Di Canio and Sunderland. It's 1-0 to Manchester United. They've started brightly, they've started confidently, and they have the ball with Evans. No Ferdinand and Vidic tonight. Ferdinand's on the bench, and it's moved to Valencia down the right-hand side. Valencia up against 2 or 3 Villa players. Raphael's going to try and help him out. The ball is looped forward towards Raphael, not cut out by Bennett. Raphael turned it back towards Ryan Giggs, and in the end Vlaar clears for a throw-in down this near side. They're really not dealing at the moment with Valencia.
As I said, the fullbacks are not the best defensively, and Bennett has been caught twice now. He's not stopped the cross. The ball's gone into the box and caused them problems. And, you know, this has been their weakness all season, and you can bet Manchester United will exploit that.
Well, Delph, right in front of the referees, just pushed Valencia over. And it's a free kick to Manchester United, leading 1-0. Across comes Ryan Giggs in sight of yet another title to take the free kick with his left foot. And Carrick's in the area, Rooney as well, and it goes from Giggs, and it's straight into the stomach in the end of Guzan, who clears quickly downfield, looks for Weimann, but Lambert turns away in disgust there. That wasn't a great clearance from his goalkeeper, and Manchester United have the possession again. Little flick from Giggs doesn't quite work, and now in midfield it's Westwood, and Westwood onto the fullback Loughton, and here's a chance now for Villa to counter-attack. Nzogbia takes over on the far side. This is the Villa right. 1-0 to Manchester United. Loughton again plays the ball off Evra, and Villa have a throw-in deep in the United half.
I think Paul Lambert just illustrated exactly what Aston Villa have to do. Not give the ball away for one, not play forward like Guzman did there. To come to Old Trafford as an opponent, what you need to do is quieten the crowd, quieten the players, keep possession of the ball when you can. Don't give it away, you just encourage the opponent.
Better from Villa, Weimann right across the face there, just away from Agbonlahor though, and a goal kick to Manchester United. They've stuck with De Gea, and he's rewarding them now with some fine performances in the Manchester United goal. 1-0 to Manchester United. 35 weeks ago tonight they began their season with a defeat at Everton 1-0. Then Van Persie got into the groove, and apart from one little period, flattish in terms of goal scoring, he's done it all season for them. Now Rooney, the early ball is on for him, looking for Valencia, trying to play. Bennett did well, the left back, on that occasion, making sure it didn't reach Valencia. Agbonlahor touches it back to his goalkeeper. Driven ball out of defence from Guzman. Ball now with Benteke, taken on the chest on the halfway line. Moves back into his own half, pursued by Rooney. Benteke, United really pressurising and winning the ball back. That's good play from United. Hunting the ball back, and Kagawa now with Van Persie trying to stay onside. Kagawa lays it to the left-hand side. Acceleration from Giggs. Goes past the fullback. Giggs ball in towards Van Persie. Van Persie's header down. Kagawa was almost in there. Vlaar with a good interception for Aston Villa. Terrific football from Manchester United.
Another example, Mike, of poor full-back play. Giggs went by Loughton as if he wasn't there. Crossed. There was Van Persie and Kagawa in the box, and that's what we talked about at the beginning of the game, is why Kagawa is playing alongside Van Persie. He can get into the box, and Rooney again delivering the ball 60 yards perfectly to Valencia on the right-hand side.
Kagawa getting a run at the moment, keeping cleverly on the bench. Manchester United lead 1-0. Van Persie inside the first 90 seconds. Rooney linking with Carrick, and Rooney once more. On to Raphael. Nice movement from Manchester United. Kagawa now slips it forward to Rooney. Van Persie's waiting. Rooney's ball in too high for Van Persie. Headed up by Villa. Only as far as Raphael. Raphael shoots. Hits the post. Screamer from the Brazilian. Villa clear. Still inside their own half. Valencia once more pops up down the right-hand side. Villa having more problems. Valencia's slanted ball in is behind the United attackers, but Evra will still pounce first down the left-hand side. 1-0 to Manchester United. Carrick gives the ball back to Evans.
Paul Lambert, this is what you dread as a manager coming to Old Trafford. The first 8 minutes, and really, you could be 3 down.
Yeah.
And there's goals in this game, as you can see. It's just a case of trying to restrict Manchester United as much as they can, and Aston Villa trying to get hold of the ball.
Former England manager Steve McLaren with us. He was, of course, alongside Sir Alex, the great treble-winning season, 99. Manchester United will have to settle just for a single this season, but it's the one they want most of all, the Premier League title. It will be the 20th, and it's very much within reach now this evening. Leading 1-0, ball down the left-hand side. United are really going to have to lose their grip of this game now to let Villa back. Lovely play from Giggs, releases Evra. Van Persie waits once more. Evra pulls the ball back, half cleared by Aston Villa. Valencia can't take it in its stride. Rooney's there once more, hitting these crisp passes from deep midfield. Rooney into Raphael. Great football from Manchester United. Raphael tormenting the Villa defenders. Back to Valencia once more. Now Rooney. Rooney tees the ball in towards Van Persie. Headed out of the penalty area by Baker. And then a drop kick from Bennett goes straight back to Manchester United. Strong header from Evans. Back into the Villa defence once more. Now westward for Benteke. Lovely flick from Benteke. Here goes Weimann now. Benteke making a run down the left-hand side. Weimann finds him. Oh, just over the bar from Benteke. What a fantastic counter-attack. And there's the way back for Aston Villa, and Paul Lambert knows it.
That's Aston Villa. That is their season. Absolutely poor in defence. Any cross that goes in the box they can't defend, but on the transition, on the counter-attack, they are so quick. Score majority of the goals on the counter-attack. Weimann, brilliant. First pass into him and Benteke linked up very well, and he expected Benteke to score then.
Pretty close. I mean, I haven't given it a great deal of thought, but pretty close to being pound for pound. I mean, Michu was a great signing, but one of the real signings of the season, Benteke, and he'll want to be playing in the Premier League again next season. 1-0 to Manchester United. Van Persie scoring after 90 seconds. We played 12 minutes of the first half, and Vlaar, the Villa captain, heads the ball forward. And now Loughton, who got that wonderful goal a couple of weeks ago at Stoke. And Zogbia. And now Westwood, the former Crewe player, goes into the Manchester United half. Finds Agbonlahor. Better from Aston Villa. much better, of course, inside the United half. They've not been defending well, but they've given the ball away. Kagawa now finds Rooney, revelling in this midfield role. Van Persie looking to make the run. In it goes from Rooney towards Van Persie. Vlaar hasn't got it out! Oh! Magnificent on the volley! Robin Van Persie strikes a supreme goal, and surely that's the title for Manchester United. And how fitting that Robin Van Persie is dominating the evening. It was a brilliant ball from Rooney, a fantastic finish from Van Persie, and it's 2-0 to Manchester United.
Well, we wondered, why is Rooney playing alongside Carrick? And we talked about how deep he was against West Ham and no support for Van Persie. And already he's delivered, Rooney, 3 of the best passes of the game so far in 10 minutes. And that one was sublime. But the movement from Van Persie and the finish was world class. I think that just sums up why Manchester United have run away with this title this season.
Well, Alan Green was talking earlier about Arsenal selling Van Persie, and of course one of the reasons, or the reason he wanted to leave Arsenal in the end, was no medals. He's come here to win the title, and he's going to do it, and he's probably going to do it this evening. 2 goals from Van Persie, very different in execution. The first was touched in from very close range. That was spectacular. That was Marco van Basten at his very best. It was a wonderful goal from Van Persie. And now United have to defend this free kick from Villa, which is just inside United's half. And young Bennett, the former Middlesbrough youngster, hits the ball into the United half. Headed on by Villa, but straight through safely to De Gea. That took some execution, Steve, didn't it?
That was absolutely magnificent technique. We always said, any youngsters out there watching, know how to volley a ball coming over your shoulder. That was textbook and classic. And Robin Van Persie, he must think all his birthdays have come at once joining Manchester United, joining this team that plays this type of football. It's perfect for him.
He's involved again with Kagawa, and back into midfield for Rooney. Rooney, a revelation in his opening 14 minutes again in midfield, enjoying the freedom. Rooney once more. And I remember a few weeks ago when Van Persie missed that opportunity in Madrid against Real Madrid, as the ball comes in and Dusan's there once more. He had, by his high standards, a bit of a dip, but it's the old thing, isn't it, Steve, about form temporary, class permanent. I mean, he was always going to come back again.
Of course. Over a season, good games, bad games, indifferent games, as long as your attitude's always spot on, and Wayne Rooney's always is. But what you're getting from the position that he's playing is getting time on the ball, and what he's good at is playing forward. And that is a top midfield play. That's why Carrick, we talked about him before the game, has surpassed himself this season. He plays the ball forward in that killer pass more often than he has done in the past. Well, Rooney's doing the same.
They're standing up already around us for the champions. There's a nervous back pass to Gusan, but we must also, as Carrick sees Gusan out of his goal and tries to score from the centre circle, and it's gone wide. And I'm mindful in the commentary that we must keep redressing the balance here tonight, because this is a big deal for Aston Villa, of course. Wigan fans at the moment will be delighted with this scoreline. Remember, Wigan play Aston Villa on the last day of the season, and the more it's coming down to, that could well be a decisive game. Who stays in the Premier League?
It will be, and it's a shame, because at 1-0, and we just saw the strength of Aston Villa, nearly scoring, nearly equalising. 1 minute later, the 2-0 down, and looking. Really, it's going to be a long evening for them so far.
Well, United came back from 2-0 down at Villa earlier in the season, but honestly, you can't really see this one turning around at the moment.
You just see more goals in this game, don't you? Every time United go forward, they look like scoring.
De Gea hasn't had to make a save. Benteke, on a great counter-attack, smashed the ball over. Now it's Delph coming into the United half. Delph plays a 1-2, lots of United. And another factor in this opening period has been the hard work as well. United have been putting in, closing down immediately, winning the ball back, Barcelona style. And now Kagawa once more. Kagawa playing in this role just behind Van Persie. Rooney looking to pick the pass. Giggs, Carrick. Lovely football from Manchester United. Kagawa, lovely ball into Van Persie. Defenders having problems here. Giggs is available down the left-hand side. Van Persie sees him. Oh, and he just strayed offside, I think, as Loughton tried to intercept. And Villa are allowed to take the free kick quickly. And Zogby is in possession over on the far side. 17 minutes gone in the first half and 5 live. Steve McLaren with us at Old Trafford, watching Manchester United going into a 2-0 lead, courtesy of 2 from Robin van Persie. He's been the difference. Now Benteke once more, left-hand side. Benteke immediately hemmed in by 2 Manchester United players. Paul Lambert appeals for the throw-in, and it's given. Delph, a bit slow from Villa. Bennett now, the left back. Look a bit uncertain, Villa. Played in now from Delph towards Agbonlahor, who fouls Raphael, and Manchester United have a free kick.
You're absolutely right, Mike, what you said earlier about the attitude of Manchester United. From the first whistle, they've been front foot to the ball, winning every challenge, playing forward. When they've lost it, pressing, winning the ball back.
It's a foul by Giggs.
And really, Aston Villa, they've not had time to settle. They just need to put the foot on the ball, keep possession, take the heat out of the game, because if they don't get a foothold, they've got no chance in this game.
Now they've earned the right here, United, to dominate because of the work that Steve McLaren's been saying they've been putting in here, and they've scored 2 goals, and the second was breathtaking from Van Persie. Now Delph of Aston Villa. On to Bennett. And the movement's not anything like as convincing from Villa as from Manchester United. But all the United players are back inside their own half. Bennett again now. Weimann was calling for it. Now he's got it in central midfield. Weimann into Nzogbia. Back again to Weimann. Can Villa respond? Almost got that onto Agbonlahor, but it's away from him in the end. And a goal kick for De Gea and Manchester United. And we're approaching the 19th minute now here. And of course, even though they're 2-0 down, all the Villa fans here away to the right immediately respect the fact that 19 minutes, and that means respect to Stiliyan Petrov, the number 19, of course, as he fights his battle back from leukemia. And there hasn't been a single game since that sad news was announced when the Villa fans haven't marked the 19th minute in that respect, applauding and chanting his name. Now Aston Villa once more. Back to Vlaar.
How they could do with him now.
Well, that's exactly what they need, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah.
A little bit of experience around these tenderfoot players they have, you know?
Because you've seen so far, in the first 20 minutes, you've seen the kind of football that Aston Villa can play. They've got good football players. They've got good players, good combinations, can receive the goal, good movement up front, bit of speed, bit of pace, bit of ingenuity, but ultimately no experience. And Petrov, that type of player who can put his foot on the ball and give them that.
Just then United were quite happy to let Villa have the ball ready on the halfway line. They didn't do anything in the end with it, and it's a goal kick for De Gea away to the left. And do you think De Gea is growing into this role now here, Steve, as the goalkeeper?
Yeah, I think he grew into it at Upton Park this week. There was evidence.
Against Mr. Carroll, yeah.
He went into Carroll like that. That was it was one hell of a challenge, and he stood up to that.
It's interesting, we've made comparisons between Roberto Mancini's management, Sir Alex Ferguson, the way that Sir Alex Ferguson stood by his man at all times here, De Gea, to give him the confidence. At times, Roberto Mancini even seems to have had a problem with Joe Hart, which beggars belief sometimes, with Hart being the outstanding goalkeeper in England.
No, I think the golden rule of Sir Alex was all criticism, keep it within the club.
Yeah.
Don't let anything come outside, especially in the public domain and especially in the media.
2-0 to Manchester United. In comes Evra with a challenge down the left-hand side. Carrick is helping him out, and it's a throw to Aston Villa with nearly 21 minutes gone in the first half. Carrick's just gone to the ground. Across comes referee Taylor to see if he needs help. He's just making the physio wait a few seconds longer. Carrick on his haunches, pulls up his stockings, and I think he's going to be okay. Throw into Villa far side. Loughton, the young man they signed from Sheffield United, the right back, with this throw in for Villa. They do need to respond before half-time if they're to find a way back into this game. Starting to run out of games. Preserving 25 years at the top since Graham Taylor's side got promotion in 1988. They've never been out of the Premier League. Benteke beaten by Carrick. Carrick just pulled away and winced in a little pain there. The ball this time doesn't stick with Van Persie, but typically he wins it back, and now Raphael drives the ball to Valencia, who's checked by Bennett, and now there are a couple of players out of position as Bennett goes forward to Villa. In goes the cross too deep to the far post. If he could have found more precision there, that might have been a test for Manchester United. Ball is out of player. Still looking at Carrick, who's just doesn't seem to be too happy at the moment inside the penalty area. Just watching that situation.
That's all right, but I think Manchester United, 20 minutes gone, they're taking a breather now. They've done the job. They've worked so hard in that first 20 minutes to deny Aston Villa any possession, winning the ball. And through their endeavours, they've got 2 goals up. They're in control of the game, so they're having a little breather now. And this is the chance for Aston Villa. And, you know, the way they're playing, they're capable of scoring, but they need to get the next goal.
Well, at the moment, Manchester United are going to get a guard of honour at Arsenal next Sunday. Robin van Persie would rather like that, I'm sure, as we're moving towards the halfway point of the first half. Giggs now finds Valencia down this near side. Valencia takes it, waits for players to arrive from midfield. Rafael's made a great run on the outside. Little bit of a decoy run in the end, maybe. Valencia's given the ball back to Rooney. Van Persie's calling for it. Rooney slows it down and then releases Kagawa. Van Persie's poised. In comes the cross. Villa clear. Here's Alan Green.
Just imagine the reception the Arsenal fans will give to Van Persie on Sunday. Gruesome. Valencia crosses deep towards the far post, and it's headed away before Van Persie can get to it, but it's still in United's possession. Evra, captain this evening. No Vidic to remember, not even on the bench tonight. Back to Rooney in this unfamiliar, strictly central midfield role. Glorious ball for Van Persie's second goal. Fantastic pass, and we know he's capable of it, Rooney. Here he is in the centre circle to Carrick. Carrick still moving a little bit gingerly. Back to Jones, and Jones all the way back to De Gea to waken up the goalkeeper because he's in danger of falling asleep back there. By the way, is it in your contract that you are brought a coffee after kickoff? I mean,
I'm just disappointed I've only got
that.
one sugar in it. That's
Manchester United 2, Aston Villa 0, and the first goal came after around about 90 seconds. The second, again from Van Persie, was simply sublime. Here's Carrick. Carrick looking for the run of Giggs into the penalty area. It's headed away well by Blar, taken down off the chest by Bennett, the left back, and then Bennett hits it out of play, and it will be a throw in on the near side of the field to Manchester United, 20 yards inside the Aston Villa half. Just having a chat in the technical area, a couple of the backroom staff of United, including Mike Phelan, about Michael Carrick's fitness. He's still walking slightly awkwardly there. He won't want to come off on a night when definitively they'll be crowned champions, barring an unexpected revival from Aston Villa. Here's Evra on the far side of the field, back to the Japanese Kagawa. And the Japanese media who have descended on Old Trafford tonight might be relieved that he's in the starting lineup. Now it's hit crossfield, but that was inaccurately played. And it's hit forward by Agbonlahor. That was an over-ambitious pass by Agbonlahor. And it's intercepted by Carrick. On it goes to Rafael. Now Rooney, right of the centre circle, just inches inside the Villa half to Rafael. Kagawa, back to Carrick. Kagawa once more. And then he couldn't get the pass threaded through to Rooney, and Aston Villa have a rare touch on the ball. Within Zogbia. Lighten on the far side of the field, the young right back. And now back to the captain Blar. On to Baker. That defence has been tested so often in these opening 25 minutes, Aston Villa's. Baker once more to Blar. They are having a breather, Manchester United.
Yeah, definitely.
An exhilarating first 20 minutes, and now 5 minutes just to get their breath back.
That's right.
Or perhaps to lull Aston Villa into a sense that they might yet get something out of this game.
Well, they're just waiting. They're just sat there, they're in position, they're screening everything. They're just waiting for a mistake, waiting for Aston Villa to give the ball away, transition, counter-attack so quick and get the third goal.
And Zogbia to Bennett on the attack here, swings the ball in, and De Gea catches it well. Couldn't always be said about De Gea in his early days at Old Trafford that he was comfortable in the air, but he's learning without question. And I wonder if they'll let Lindegaard go in the summer.
Well, that will be interesting. You always need good goalkeepers, and early season you gave them all a game, but De Gea was the one who you needed to give experience to, and he's certainly improved.
Here's dominant. Sorry, Steve.
Certainly improved. Dominant not just on crosses, but very good with his feet.
Yes, indeed. Here's Valencia, jigging one way then the other. Doesn't quite fool like Agbonlahor, so he plays it back to Rafael. Rooney on towards Kagawa, but not picked up by the Japanese. And now it's with Nzogbia over the halfway line, and he was tripped there by Evra quite deliberately. Nzogbia is clutching his right shin. Evra knew what he was doing.
That's what we call a good foul.
Yes, a professional foul.
A very good foul. Always we talk about rest defence, on transition, on counter-attack. That's when opponents that are most dangerous. When you just lose the ball, you're out of position.
He's got to book him.
Yeah, he deserves it. It was a professional foul. Aston Villa on the attack. It's near the halfway line. Better to concede a foul there than a shot at goal or a free kick nearer the box.
Yeah, Nzogby is mighty unhappy about that. He's not receiving treatment. He was well away from the United skipper. Evra has now been shown the yellow card. Time for a breather. Manchester United 2, Aston Villa 0. I remember that game back in November. Villa played really well to go 2-0 up at Villa Park. And Hernandez came on and United were transformed, suddenly electrified, and
well, you
3-2 winners.
You can see why Aston Villa are where they are. In the first 20 minutes, you can see they can play good football, they can create chances. They've got fullbacks, Loughton, Bennett, who can get forward. Front four who are pacey, you saw Nzogby there. You can see that they can score goals, especially with Benteke at the head of it. But also you've seen the frailties that they've got. Defenders not being able to defend, fullbacks not stopping crosses. Every ball that goes into the box, they've had problems, and Manchester United have seized on that, took control because of that. And now the pressure is right on Aston Villa. And Paul Lambert has stood there thinking, I hope half-time comes and it's only 2-0.
Westwood with the free kick as Nzogby had to leave the pitch having received treatment. It's played into the United penalty area at the Stretford end of Old Trafford, but then hooked away by United. Carrick on towards Valencia. I think that ball's gone over the touchline, it has, and it will be a throw-in to Aston Villa. And Nzogby, who'd limped off, comes back on. I think he'll be all right. So they're sort of lime green shirts tonight for Aston Villa. A shirt thought up at a nightmare for somebody. But no doubt they'll sell well. The throw-in has been taken by Bennett. Bennett gets the ball back forward to Agbonlahor, has been very quiet, and he loses it. And here's Valencia holding off Bennett. Bennett's pulling his shirt, pulls Valencia down, and it's a free kick to Manchester United. 29 minutes played here at Old Trafford in the first half. Manchester United 2, Aston Villa 0. You're listening to 5 Live in the BBC, and our summariser tonight, the former England manager, Steve McLaren, who wants to get back into work to get away from people like me.
Absolutely right. Steve Bruce was right what he said about you. I'm going to say the same at the weekend.
He is a good friend of mine, as you are. So don't let the listeners be misled.
Honestly, we're not. I was just thinking, one player that's really impressed me is Raphael at right back. We talk about Loughton going forward, Bennett getting forward, and Raphael, that's always been his strength, getting forward, but always susceptible just as defending one-on-one or defending at the back post. But he's certainly, I'll just let you take over.
Well, it's given away by Carrick, but Carrick makes the interception, wins the ball back for Manchester United. He finds Raphael onto Valencia. The action's inside the United half. Valencia finds Rooney. Rooney's got quite a lot of room tonight. Not a great ball from Rooney. Intercepted by Nzogby. Nzogby out of Byman, back towards Nzogby, into the United penalty. Right foot shot, takes a deflection and loops away from goal, and it's going to be a corner to Aston Villa.
Yeah, as I was saying about Raphael, can get forward, and now he's grown as a defender. And very good at that as well. Looks as though he's gotten a little stronger. And we just saw glimpses there. 2-0. I'm not saying it's a dangerous scoreline, but the next goal, Paul Lambert will know is vital. If he concedes it, that's really game over. If they get a goal back, it's game on.
Corner at the Stretford end for Aston Villa, taken by Nzogby, head towards the near post, headed on, it's down the edge of the penalty area, back it goes, and a shot is driven in by Delph, hits a defender, rebounds to the far side of the field. Here's Westwood close to the corner flag, down the right, deep for Benteke. 3 United players jumped, none of them made contact, played back to the edge of the penalty area, and the shot not blasted in by Aston Villa, and now United have time and room on the far side of the field, and they can clear it properly, you would think. Kagawa's furthest forward. The ball is with Valencia. On the wrong side for him, he's down the left at the moment. Now it's back with Evra, and Valencia can sort of trundle towards his normal flank on this side of the pitch in the first half. Ball's with Rooney in the centre circle. He does look very comfortable, Wayne. But with his ability, I would expect him to be able to play most any position.
Absolutely, he can play in any position possible. It's learning the position, being in the right places, and look at him, he is, and he's got that sublime ball just like that.
Towards
from
Valencia.
Left to right towards Valencia.
It was intercepted by Byman for Aston Villa. Byman's popping up down the left at the moment, and Westwood's trying to pick him out, but that's behind Byman, and it's out of play for a throw into Manchester United. A little bit untidy the play just the last few minutes.
Yeah, that's right, and they've lost all the tempo, Manchester United, and allowed Aston Villa just one or two little sniffs at goal, little bits of possession.
Kagawa controls Carrick's pass on to Giggs. Giggs is through beyond the defence into the penalty area. Giggs for 3. It's into Van Persie. Is this the hat-trick? Yes, it is. 32 minutes in the first half, and Van Persie has scored 3 times. It will be Manchester United's title. United 3, Villa 0.
Just what Aston Villa didn't want. Just coming into the game, just settling it down. 12 minutes before half-time, you're thinking, yeah, 2-0, let's get in. But as we said before, Manchester United just sit back, wait for the mistake. It happened. How weak this defence is, especially through the middle. Klar on the wrong side, didn't follow Van Persie. A great ball through to Giggs. And Giggs, unselfishly, you knew it was.
He could have scored himself.
No, he knew. He was toying with him. He was toying with the defenders. He wanted to give Van Persie the hat-trick. And that is some hat-trick.
Well, the Dutchman now becomes, I think, the leading scorer in the Premier League. These 3 goals tonight have taken him above Luis Suarez.
Yep. and rightly so. And there's
still 24 hours for Suarez.
Yeah, and there's still a long time to go to get some more.
Yeah. And unfortunately for Villa, you know, we've still got nearly an hour of the game to go.
You hate this.
I turned to Mark Chapman, you know.
Oh, you hate this.
5, 6, 7.
Paul Lambert will be stood there, and that's good. That's what you've got to do. You've got to stand there. You've got to stand with your team in the technical area, and you've got to take what comes. And you know, against Manchester United, anything can happen. 3-0 before half-time. It's a long, long way before 95 minutes is up.
Yeah. Or 97 as they were at Anfield yesterday. I mean, I just look at Villa's games to come. I'll be commentating on the next one, next Monday night, at home to Sunderland. Then they're away to Norwich, home to Chelsea, and finally away to Wigan. That's a really difficult run-in.
I think what they've done now, they've come here tonight, and really they want a performance. They want a performance so that they can go into the next 3 games, yes, with a bit of pride intact. Had a goal, played football, and seen signs that they could get enough points out the next 3 games to do it. What they're doing at the present moment, and Paul Lambert will be so aware, is that they're in danger of really getting embarrassed in this game unless Manchester United really take the foot off the gas.
Well, they started tonight 3 points ahead of Wigan, having played the same number of games. They'll lose this, and then Wigan will have a game in hand, 3 points behind, and we know what experience Wigan have of getting out of trouble.
That's right.
These are young boys out there playing against men tonight.
Well, you've seen that already. I think you've seen totally the inexperience, the way they want to go and play and are a bit loose in their play, a bit indisciplined. And the biggest thing is you have to be able to defend. You have to be able to keep clean sheets and make sure that you can come to Old Trafford and know that at least you can defend and then play from that platform. They've not done that from the first whistle. They've looked vulnerable. The first 10 minutes, very, very, could have been 4 down. You have to defend well. That's your platform. Then you can go and play from that. And Aston Villa haven't got that at the moment.
Westwood back to Baker. And they're happy at the moment. Villa just to string a few passes together. It's with Bennett, the left back, finding the captain, Blar. And the thought must be in the Villa minds that, you know, United can have a breather, and then this suddenly will have a burst of energy, a burst of technique, speed, finishing, and it could be 4.
Yeah.
Benteke trying to sweep the ball to the far side of the field, intercepted by Giggs, but won back by Loughton for Aston Villa, leaving it for Westwood now, just to the right of the centre circle. Played through that circle to Delph, on to Benteke, back to Delph. Agbonlahor is nearby, and Zogby is down the left side for the moment. Agbonlahor picks it up, back to Benteke, but it was an awkward pass for him to take. Rooney intercepts, gives it to Evra, and it's back to De Gea, whose clearance actually hits Weimann and goes out of play on the far side of the field for a throw into Manchester United. You're listening to 5 Live in the BBC. United needed to win tonight to claim the title with 4 weeks still left in the season, and they're winning 3-0. All the goals scored by Robin van Persie. And they're playing really well, full of confidence, and importantly, Steve, when there could have been complacency amongst the fans at Old Trafford. There's a really good buzz about the arena tonight.
No, they'll milk this. They'll make the most of this. They've been waiting for this moment since the last game of last season when they lost it so cruelly. And they'll savour this. And they'll want the team now to go out and perform and keep the tempo and keep it going and keep scoring. They'll want the performance from the players, and they'll keep going, they'll keep singing, they'll drive them forward. You know, the best that Aston Villa can hope for is that Sir Alex makes changes, the team relax, and they're just happy with 3-0.
Bennett's lost the ball. Carrick feeds it on. Here's Van Persie on to Rooney in a fairly advanced position, Rooney, but he couldn't pick up that pass, and it's back with Delph for Aston Villa. To Baker, Delph again, and on to Bennett. Near touchline, Aston Villa left. The ball's still inside the Villa half, and United fans are just delirious in terms of what they're seeing here tonight. It's with Westwood for Villa inside the centre circle. On the line on the far side, Nzogby is close by. So too is Westwood. Westwood to Byman. Back to Nzogby, who had a hack there. And yet, well, the referee's given a free kick against Patrice Evra. I thought Nzogby hacked Evra.
Yeah, that's right. It's a good little tussle, good little duel.
That was payback for earlier when Evra was booked for a foul on Nzogby. I don't know why the referee's given the free kick to Villa this time, though. 7 minutes to half-time.
You just wonder whether referees are starting to think, well, I feel a little bit sorry now for Aston Villa and just give them a little bit more of a leniency, a bit of a free kick here, and some of the decisions go their way.
Westwood plays the ball in. It's too high, though, for Baker, and it's a simple catch for David De Gea. De Gea now will bang it upfield over the halfway line towards Kagawa, headed away by Vlaar, and taken down off the chest by Delph. Delph slides it forward to Benteke, back to Nzogby. Chip forward towards Vyman, ahead of Vyman, and Evans is across for Manchester United, and Evans slides an excellent clearance down the right touchline to Valencia. Into Van Persie, Carrick, Kagawa, Carrick again. Giggs is on the far side, so too is Evra. Kagawa first of all, though. Evra to his left, and it's taken up by the skipper, Van Persie, waiting for a fourth opportunity. Evra's cross didn't reach him. It clattered off the back of the defender, Lighton, and decided to play for a throw-in to Manchester United. He also volleyed one over the crossbar after 3 minutes that he might have scored from.
As we say, he could have had 4 or 5 already.
Oh.
But as we were talking earlier, and just Aston Villa now on the break again.
Yeah, Nzogby over the halfway line, sprinting forward. Carrick tried to clip the ball away. He actually hurt himself, Michael Carrick, in making that challenge, and Manchester United have it back with Giggs, who was originally caught in possession. Giggs moves over the halfway line. 5 minutes to go to half-time here on 5 Live. Manchester United 3, Aston Villa 0. A hat-trick for Robin Van Persie. Kagawa has the ball to Van Persie in the far side. Deep for him in this first half, almost on the halfway line. Now Evra, and it's back to walking pace for Manchester United. No great urgency. Evra from Evans, and Evra turns back to Evans again, finds Kagawa first. Now Evans back to De Gea. They're obviously in sympathy with David De Gea, not having a lot to do. He won't mind a quiet evening.
He'll be pleased with that. And as Aston Villa, they've lined up, and it's what do you do now? Do you press? Do you have a go? Do you really go for it and get exposed at the back like they have done now?
Raphael coming forward into Kagawa, back to Van Persie. Good one-touch football from Manchester United. Giggs, great up crossing. Good catch by Guzan. Or else there was Raphael or maybe Van Persie to make it 4.
They're so fluid when they go forward, aren't they? It's all tough passes into each other, all 1 and 2 touch. Tremendous football.
Here's Nzogby though for Aston Villa on the far side of the field. He's running at Evra. Evra just kept his eye on the ball, tapped it away temporarily, but only now to Westwood, taken up by Nzogby. On now to Benteke. Benteke hustled by Raphael. Benteke turns. He's about 25 yards from goal. Good ball forward to Agbonlahor. Agbonlahor shoots just wide. Best effort of the game from Aston Villa.
Yeah, that's right. As we said earlier, this team can play football. They're playing a little narrow, the front four, no real width. Narrow, so they have to play combinations. They're doing that quite well, and this is a little test for Jones, for Evans. I think this is why Sir Alex has played these two, because they know against Benteke, Agbonlahor, Zogbia and Weimann, they're going to get tested. And so far, they've done well. But you can see Aston Villa, you can see why they can score goals. And if they hadn't been 3 down, they'd still be in this game with chances to score. But as it is, they're just playing for pride at the moment. And just as we said at the beginning of the game, just to have a go.
Yeah, trying to avoid a tonking, Steve, the way the first half has gone. In fact, Villa would love to get to half-time now, just at 3-0.
They'd love to get to 90 minutes now.
Yes, yeah, but you know what I mean? Just maybe mentally, Manchester United will know it's done and might take their foot off the gas for the second half. We'll see. Rooney was giving that ball away, and maybe Carrick should have collected it, and he didn't, in Zogbia. To Leighton on the far side of the field. Westwood's available. Leighton 20 yards inside the half. Deep ball, looking for Benteke's offside. Free kick to Manchester United. 2 minutes to the interval.
I think Manchester United have been so good, so fluid from front to back, and I think that's as much to do with Rooney playing in that position and Kagawa playing in the position he is. Because the link last week, I watched them against West Ham, Van Persie was isolated up front, but you've seen tonight straight away Rooney's dropped deep to get the ball, he's delivered to the front players. Kagawa has supported Van Persie so well, and because he's done that, Van Persie's had the room on crosses and through balls where he can exploit the spaces that maybe Fla and Baker have gone in against Kagawa.
Here's Rooney on the halfway line, looking for Van Persie. The ball was played behind the Dutchman and it was headed away by Bennett, but it's given away by Zogbia. Valencia, his shirt tugging there. It's followed by the assistant, and it's a free kick to Aston Villa. A minute to half time, and I'm afraid Paul Lambert looks a concerned figure. I don't think it's as much about tonight. It's about what damage a heavy defeat might do to their mentality with the 4 games to go.
Yeah, absolutely. But, when you're in this situation, he'll know. He'll have some games and he'll say, we've got a chance on that, we've got a chance on that. He will know coming here, not likely to get 3 points. He's not likely to get 3 points now. What he needs is a performance. He doesn't need many more goals going in. They need their pride intact for the next 3 games. But still, it's every game is winnable, and there's 9 points. It's between them and Wigan, I'm sure it is. And as you said before, with the fixtures, it could go down to the last game.
Here's Delph, forward to Westwood, and now to the captain, Vlar. Well, that would have looked well at Twickenham, but it was rather too high to threaten the goal of De Gea, and it's high into the Stretford end, that shot. 40 yards out? 2 minutes of added time. 2 minutes more punishment for Aston Villa in this first half, which has been all Manchester United. 1 or 2 chances for Aston Villa. Shot by Bonlahor, an early effort from Benteke. But aside from that, they've been under pressure. That was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Bennett and Valencia with their arms around one another. The decision went to Bennett.
I think that's what Manchester United have done well. You have to play the type of football that they play. You have to take risks. So you have to push fullbacks forward. And you are going to get chances against you. But because you take risks, you're able to attack just like they've been attacking.
Here's
so
Jones.
Quick, so fluid, so threatening in every time they go forward.
Jones out of defence, and they want to throw in Manchester United. Near side of the field, they're right. When Bonlahor gives the ball back to Valencia, he takes it, finds Carrick, back to Raphael, and Raphael wins another throw-in off Weimann. And just the odd sign that 1 or 2 Villa heads are going down here. Look at Weimann when that ball rebounded off and out for a throw, and it's as if, we're not going to get anything tonight.
No, you always look around, and as a manager, Paul Lambert will be looking at the body language of his team, and he's got to keep that body language positive, because he's got 45 minutes coming up. He's got to go in and come out at half-time and say to his team, it's 0-0. We've got to win the second half, or we've got to make sure we don't lose.
Giggs Devra into the Villa penalty area, trying to pull the ball back in the direction of Kagawa, but it's cleared by Leighton up towards the halfway line, met by Carrick. 20 seconds of added time remaining here in the first half at Old Trafford. Manchester United lead by 3-0. Every one of those goals scored by Robin Van Persie. Here's Carrick in the centre circle to Rooney. And a surprising role tonight, a central midfield player, proper midfield player. delivered a fantastic ball for Van Persie's second goal. Back it goes to Evra, and there goes the whistle for half-time from Anthony Taylor, and it's been a wonderful first half for the champions to be.
A great exhibition of football. How from the first whistle to be front foot, to create the tempo, to press the opponent, to play forward, to get the ball wide, to put the ball into the box. And every time the ball has gone into the box, they've looked dangerous. Scored 3, could have scored 5. Villa very poor in defence, but had 1 or 2 opportunities going forward. At 3-0, they'll be looking for the second half to come out and really get some pride in the performance.
You fear for Villa, though.
There's a coach's dilemma here, isn't there, as well, for Paul Lambert? I'm just looking that the 3-0 deficit takes Villa's goal difference to -27. Wiggins is -23, they'll have played a game less. Newcastle -17, Norwich -20, Sunderland -7. I mean, there is every chance, because it is so tight, it could come down to goal difference, the final relegation spot. So how do you approach the second half with that in mind?
You do, you'll come in, and I think the biggest thing is exactly what Alan was saying. Look at the body language of your opponents, of your team. When you walk in that dressing room, look in their eyes, look at the body language. What is it like? Are they down, shoulders down, heads down? Are they up? And it's his job. This is when a manager earns his living. Not when you're 3-0 up. It's when you're 3-0 down at Old Trafford and you're on for a right thumping. This is when you become a manager. And he's got to go in there and he's got to stir them up. And he's got to say, whatever happens, this team is a damn good team. It's playing very well. It's won the game. It could relax a little bit. What we have to do, forget that, it's gone. We've got 45 minutes. We're playing for pride. None of your heads drop. None of your body language is negative. We are positive. We have a go. That's what we do. We keep doing the same things playing football. If they concede, they concede. It doesn't matter. But their heads have to stay up. Come out of this second half with a draw or winning it, and that will be success. And that was all I would say, is now it's a 45-minute game. Get through it, get a result, and at the end, if they do get one, I'd be happy. Get in there, right, let's go to the next game. That's what he must do.
Steve McLaren, Alan Green and Mike Ingham, your commentary team here at Old Trafford. Manchester United lead Aston Villa by 3-0 with a Robin Van Persie hat-trick. Five Live Football League will take place during half-time. Let's get a news update first of all, though, with Faye Rusker.
On digital radio, digital TV, mobile and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The surviving suspect for the Boston Marathon bombing has been charged as he lay in his hospital bed. Dzhokhar Tsarnaev is accused of using a weapon of mass destruction against people and property, resulting in death. The White House spokesman Jay Carney says he'll be tried in the US criminal justice system, not as an enemy combatant.
Under U.S. law, United States citizens cannot be tried in military commissions. And it is important to remember that since 9/11, we have used the federal court system to convict and incarcerate hundreds of terrorists.
The police in Canada say they foiled a major terror plot supported by Al-Qaeda to attack a train travelling between Toronto and New York. They've arrested 2 people and charged them with terrorism offences. The Health Secretary, Jeremy Hunt, has criticised the main nursing union in a row about how to respond to the Stafford Hospital scandal. The Royal College of Nursing says government plans to make trainee nurses work as healthcare assistants are hugely disappointing. Mr Hunt says they should take note of the Francis report into the scandal.
They have their trade union responsibilities for the nursing profession, but they also have their responsibilities as a Royal College to raise professional standards, and that's what didn't happen. And I think they need to be very careful about criticising the government for accepting what Robert Francis said needs to happen when they fail to respond to some very serious criticisms themselves.
The Labour leader Ed Miliband has told the BBC that massive increases in spending on the NHS simply won't be available if his party wins the next general election. He said it would be a priority for Labour but refused to promise he'd spend more than the coalition. The search for the missing 5-year-old girl April Jones has been called off. She disappeared near her home in Machynlleth in mid Wales in October. Mark Bridger denies abducting and murdering her as well as intending to pervert the course of justice. Our reporter Kemlyn Davis is in Aberystwyth.
It's been described as one of the largest police search operations in UK history. It's been going on for almost 7 months, and during that time police teams from all over the UK have been scouring the challenging environment and terrain of the Dyfi Valley, having to contend with mine shafts, forests, rivers.
And a memorial service has been held to mark the 20th anniversary of the racist murder of Stephen Lawrence. David Cameron and Ed Miliband both gave readings at the service. Quick look at the roads now. In Lancashire, one lane of the M6 northbound is shut. Traffic's very slow between junction 32 and 33 because of an accident. That's around the Broughton interchange. In Lowestoft in Suffolk, the A12 Yarmouth Road southbound is closed between Station Road and Coulton Road for emergency repairs. A diversion is in place there. Faye Rusco, 5 Live Travel.
5 Live's Big Day Out. Join us for 5 Live's Big Day Out in Liverpool on June the 1st. See Fighting Talk Live and the 606 End of Season Awards with Colin Murray, Mark Chapman, Robbie Savage and loads of special guests. There'll also be live music from the one and only Primal Scream. Big Day Out. For tickets, go to bbc.co.uk/5live, where you'll also find our entertaining terms and conditions.
7 minutes to 9, this is 5 Live Sport. The sport headlines this evening. The FA have charged Liverpool striker Luis Suarez with violent conduct for biting Chelsea's Branislav Ivanovic in yesterday's game at Anfield. Suarez has until 6 o'clock tomorrow evening to respond to the charge. The racing world has been sent reeling by news that 11 horses owned and trained in the biggest stable in the world, Sheikh Mohammed's Godolphin stable, have failed drugs tests. The horses, including leading Classic Hope Certify, are now barred from racing after the positives resulting from spot checks on the Newmarket base of Godolphin trainer Mahmoud Al-Zarouni. Here's our correspondent Cornelius Lyson.
In spot checks on Mahmoud Al-Zarouni's stables containing dozens of Godolphin blue bloods, 11 out of 45 samples taken were found to be positive, the 11 including Certify, winter favourite for the 1,000 guineas for an anabolic steroid. Like the other failed tests, she's now barred from racing. Al-Zarouni, who was found to have broken the drugs rules previously, hence the spot checks, is facing a long suspension from the sport. He's accepted responsibility for an incident which Sheikh Mohammed described as absolutely appalling.
Let's go straight to the Crucible, where Philip Studd has witnessed a big shock at the World Championship.
Yes, John Higgins going out 10-6 today to Mark Davis, and other seeded players are struggling as well. Stephen Maguire finds himself behind after his first session against the Thai qualifier Deshawat Poomjang. Ali Carter is 3-1 down to another qualifier, Ben Wollaston, and Mark Allen, he's having to work hard to fend off the challenge of Mark King. Allen needed a snooker with King set to level at 6-all tonight. He got it. And the Antrim left-hander now leads 7-5, but King poised to make it 7-6.
Thank you very much, Philip. And there were some interesting ties in the 5th round of the Challenge Cup draw. One of them sees Huddersfield Giants against Leeds Rhinos. The full draw is on the BBC Sport website. Here at Old Trafford, Manchester United are 3 goals to the good against Aston Villa. The second half on the way here on 5 Live Sport. After we do 5 Live Football League, and Mansfield Town's promotion back to the Football League was overshadowed by Kidderminster's 4-0 victory over Stockport, because that match was marred by crowd trouble during which the Kidderminster defender Lee Vaughan was punched. A man was arrested late on Saturday and subsequently charged with assault, and the FA is due to launch an investigation on the matter. Our Football League expert Mark Clement joins us. It was an astonishing early evening, wasn't it, Mark?
Well, it's been an astonishing 10 days, Mark, really, hasn't it? I mean, I was just looking, Millwall at Wembley, horse-punching Geordie, 27-year-old Rochdale man arrested on suspicion of the attempted murder of 2 Port Vale supporters hit by a car, Bradford fans fighting with Chesterfield stewards, all in the space of 10 days. I suppose when a player's safety is endangered on the pitch, we're into a whole new level, aren't we?
What have both clubs had to say? What have Kidderminster and Stockport put out?
Well, Stockport say that they deplore the behaviour of a small minority of individuals who have damaged their reputation. They're working closely with Greater Manchester Police. They also say, that curiously, Mark, they'd like to to make it clear that comments attributed to their chief executive that suggested the blame for the incidents rested entirely with Kidderminster for having no police presence at the ground were never made. So goodness only knows where they came from in the Sunday press. Kidderminster have defended the lack of policing. They handed it over to stewards back in 2009. They say they have been without a problem until now, and they blame the late kick-off, drinking, hot day, all the rest of it.
The Stockport story is an astonishing one, from the Championship to the Conference North in 11 years. The person we were going to talk to about Stockport happens to be on the opposite side to Old Trafford from us on a mobile, and we're having trouble getting hold of him. But at some point on 5 Live Sport, we will properly do Stockport's
astonishing,
fall from grace. Astonishing. We ought to just mention Mansfield's promotion in more than just the top of the queue that I read out, shouldn't we?
Well, you know, back after a 5-year absence, and of course they had the whole thing, didn't they, with the manager Paul Cox getting married before the Liverpool FA Cup game, and now they've chosen the promotion party to announce that owners John and Carolyn Radford are expecting their first child as well. So that's the full set to have over the weekend, isn't it? The other promotion that was signed and sealed, Bournemouth to the Championship, only the second time in their history. Remarkable return to the club for Eddie Howe, who picked them up in the League One relegation zone last October. Congratulations, Eddie.
Cheers, Clem.
How did you follow the Hartlepool-Brentford game that confirmed it? I mean, you knew you were there or thereabouts, but was it everybody, all the players in the bars with the supporters, watching it on the TV?
I think the players possibly were. I was actually in my office with my wife and my son and a couple of other people that came down, and it was nerve-wracking actually, because we until it's mathematically certain, you don't want to take any liberties in this game. So we were thankful to see that scoreline come in.
Don't think this negative, right? But unbeaten in 18, then you have a couple of defeats, then you win 5, then you lose 5, and then a club record 8 wins. What are you thinking when you've lost those 5 in a row, mate?
That's a good question, Clem. It came out of the blue, really. We lost a couple of key players to injury, and it just disrupted the balance of our team. And I think when you lose quality players like we did, I just think that slight imbalance causes you problems. And we always thought that we would be okay. We got them back fit, and you know, you've seen the rest. We've gone on a great run, and the players deserve huge credit for that, because it's very difficult to win 8 games in a row. I mean, it's a club record here, so it's been a great achievement from the players. Have you managed to relax and enjoy it, Eddie? Somebody told me that you might be at a game tonight. I'm at a game, yeah. The development squad are playing tonight, so I'm there watching that as we speak. So is the future bright? Well, we're losing 3-1 at the moment, so it's not that bright at the moment, but we've got some good young players coming through, and hopefully we can develop some. I know there are all sorts of reasons for you going back to Bournemouth, but do you feel vindicated by taking the decision to return to the club? Well, I said this at the time. I didn't feel I had to answer to anybody. It was one of those decisions that I knew would draw criticism from certain quarters. People perhaps wouldn't understand why I did it, but in my own mind, and my family's mind, which is probably the most important thing, I had no doubts. And I suppose people will say it's been justified by getting promotion, but in my eyes it wasn't really about that. It was taking on this club's role, and I'm delighted to be manager here again. I guess what we should do is pay compliment to you, not just what you've achieved on the field, but Eddie, you've quietened the circus that was surrounding Bournemouth before you arrived as well, because there was lots of negativity and fans not happy, and the chairman talking, and so it all seems to have come together. I mean, have you had to sort of manage that situation, or did it just disappear? I think when you win games, Clem, I think everything in your football club's rosy again, and I think it's as simple as that, really. I think with defeats comes criticisms, come people wanting to blame people. When you win games, I think that disappears, and thankfully the run that we've been on has meant it's been a lot easier to manage, and the club's on a stable footing, and there's been no problems. And I have to say it's been great from my perspective to work with a united board and a board that's got a vision for the future. So it's been excellent, really. Delighted for you, Eddie. Congratulations from us all. Thanks very much. Thank you. Eddie Howe, the Bournemouth manager, on 5 Live. Harry Arter, by the way, the Bournemouth player, is going to be on 5 Live tomorrow evening talking about the club's promotion, and maybe he'll talk to us about the effect that Eddie Howe had on the club. Plenty to be decided very quickly, Clem, isn't there?
Well, exactly. Great drama all over it. I mean, Barnet at the weekend was amazing, Mark. And yeah, we'll get League 1 and 2 away this weekend, and obviously the Championship the week after that.
All right, thank you very much, Mark Clement and 5 Live Football League. Don't forget the lines will be open later this evening if you want to talk about your club's promotion or relegation chances over the final weekend in the Football League. Here at Old Trafford, it's Manchester United 3, Aston Villa 0. 45 minutes to go, and if it stays like this, Manchester United will be the champions of the Barclays Premier League. Let's return to our commentary team at the moment. I'm just miking them.
And I'll be joined
Alan is here as well.
By Steve McLaren, hopefully in a minute, Mark. I'm just looking at Villa have made a change, haven't they? El Almadi's come on. I can't see who's gone off.
10.
Number 10, thank you, and Zogbia. So 3-0 to Manchester United. A lot of talk here in half-time during the in the press room about whether that's the goal of the season so far from Robin van Persie, scored in the 13th minute. It was sort of shades of Marco van Basten, Zinedine Zidane. I'm just going to have there's going to be some dead air now for about 3 seconds. I'm going to stand up and Steve McLaren is going to come into this little space here. Just bear with us. Right, we're got your legs in? Sorted? Yes, okay. Welcome back to the second half, Steve.
Thank you very much. That Old Trafford meat and potato pie was very nice, and a nice cup of coffee as well, Alan.
I'm Mike, by the way. That's Alan, this is Mike. Okay. One change made. I don't know if you've picked that one. El Abmadi's come on for Nzogbia for Aston Villa, Steve. So
I think, yeah, just to shore up the midfield. I know El Amadi from Twente and from Feyenoord, Dutch player, nice on the ball, can keep the ball. I think he's just trying to strengthen that midfield area.
Here comes Valencia down the Manchester United right, feeding Van Persie. Hat-trick in the first 32 minutes. Van Persie trying to dink a ball in, and it's going to be a corner kick to Manchester United. So the United lineup unchanged, with De Gea in goal, Raphael, Jones, Evans and Evra, Valencia, Carrick, Kagawa and Giggs. I was wondering whether Carrick would come out for the second half. Had a few problems, but he's out there. Rooney and the hat-trick man Van Persie. Villa line up in a moment. Here comes a Manchester United corner right at the start of the second half, to be taken over on the far side by Ryan Giggs and headed away at the near post by Loughton. Valencia will keep it in down the right and return the ball once more to Giggs. Evans is calling for it in the penalty area. Ryan Giggs hasn't got the cross in yet. Giggs now tees the ball into Carrick. Carrick wins another corner kick for United, Steve.
Yeah, I think we talked about Paul Lambert, what would he say to his team, but what would Sir Alex say to his? Keep going, keep the tempo high. You owe it to the supporters, you owe it to the crowd. Give them an exhibition. Make sure they relish this title like they have done all the others, and make sure you don't put your foot off the gas. Also, the subs will be important, just for that energy and attitude again.
Corner kick to United. There was a fear amongst some of the Villa press corps as the corner kick is taken in towards Evra. Evra this time we got fear at half-time amongst some of the locals from Villa that they could take a hammering like they did at Chelsea in the season, because I mean it's important, isn't it, that they're not demoralised here tonight as they go into these final 4 fixtures.
Yeah, because after that defeat against Chelsea, I think it was, I don't know how many games before they won and got beat and conceded goals and really were demoralised after. They don't want that to happen, and that is the fear for Paul Lambert on the sideline. But credit to him, he stood out there with his team, and they've got to stick together.
Just let me remind you that Villa, a week tonight, will be playing Sunderland at Villa Park, who've run into form, obviously. Alan Green will be there. They've got an away game, Paul Lambert back at Norwich, returning to his former club. They play Chelsea at home, and of course Chelsea pushing for the Champions League, and then that final game of the season, which looks ever likely to be decisive now, away to Wigan. The ball near side for Villa, just in front of Paul Lambert, with Loughton. 3-0 to Manchester United, all 3 from Van Persie, who's now gone ahead of Suarez as the leading Premier League goal scorer. And maybe Suarez won't score any more goals in the Premier League this season. Ball down the line to Loughton. Loughton taking on Evra. Loughton looking now to release Weimann. Agbonlahor's in the penalty area with Benteke. In comes across. Oh, De Gea fumbled with it, and Raphael had to concede the corner.
Yeah, that's the danger of Manchester United when you're 3-0 up, especially as a defender. And we're talking just near half-time, and De Gea has nothing to do. He's been a spectator all the 45 minutes. He's come out the second half, and that's what happens. You don't have much to do. You're called on one thing, and that's the important thing, and he made a mistake there.
United 3, Villa 0. Corner kick to Aston Villa, high into the area. Baker tries to head it on, and great save this time from De Gea. And the header came in from Weimann, and I think he thought he'd scored, but De Gea, who'd fumbled with the previous effort, made a terrific save there to keep the ball out and to keep it 3-0. Ball played in once more, Van Persie reaches for it, and De Gea prevents the corner kick.
Yeah, it's funny, we talk about Van Persie and his attacking and his goals. And it's all about discipline, you know. And what's happened there is Aston Villa has took the corner kick. It's gone over his head at the near post. And what he's done, he's got back. As the ball's gone over, he's got back onto the far post. It's gone back, it's headed. He's there to actually clear it off the line.
So it was did De Gea got a touch to it initially, did he? And then Van Persie headed it away?
I think Van Persie was in the right position. Right. And first, you know, you talk about set plays and they can be the decisive thing. Winning and losing, and I know it's 3-0, but I've seen him at games where he's saved them from collecting 3 points instead of just 1 point for a draw by clearing it off the line in exactly the same situation as that.
Now the Villa lineup is Guzan, Lowton, Vlaar, Baker and Bennett, Westwood and Delph, Agbonlahor, Weimann, El Amadi and Benteke. One thrilling counter-attack for Villa involving Benteke, which might have made a huge difference had he managed to keep the ball down and not over the bar. Then Van Persie went on to score the most fantastic second goal, certainly candidate for goal of the season. And now Valencia, referees played a good advantage. Valencia seemed to be fouled. Raphael's bustling forward. Villa standing up. Agbonlahor was there to clear. Referee Taylor allowing Manchester United the advantage. Rooney now, who set up the goal for Ruud van Nistelrooy, set up the goal for Robin van Persie. And certainly Van Nistelrooy would have been proud to have scored it. It was a wonderful execution on the volley. Zidane, Van Basten right out of the top draw. Now Carrick, flick from Giggs, doesn't quite work, and Villa get in each other's way to head the ball out. Villa useful going forward, but very vulnerable, very frail at the back in that first half. Now Benteke looking for support near side. Here's Lowton steaming into the Manchester United half. Villa playing from left to right, trailing 3-0. Poor ball into the United penalty area, but United don't clear it. And Weimann tucks it back to El Amadi. Weimann once more. Benteke poised in the area. In goes the cross. And Evans is in, Jones is in first for Manchester United. Evans now for Raphael, so improved. Raphael at the back for Manchester United. Valencia, lovely return ball to Raphael, and slides the ball infield to Carrick, and Manchester United get moving once more from midfield with Rooney onto Evra. Now Giggs, just in front of Lambert and Paul Lambert and Mike Phelan down there. Giggs is tackled by Lowton, ball is out of play, Lowton hobbles out of the challenge. And that's going to be Villa's ball. Yeah. Steve McLaren's with us tonight. Steve.
I think the change that Paul Lambert's made with bringing El Amadi in there and Zogbia off, Weimann wide on the right-hand side, has just put them three real midfield players in there, and that's what they needed. Kagawa has played that number 10 position perfectly. Just behind Van Persie, in between the back four and midfield. It's very difficult for midfield players to pick up. And what they've done, Aston Villa, is they've just put the boy Westwood, I think, just dropped down on Kagawa to stop that ball, that first ball going into him.
Free kick to Villa. Benteke won't reach that. That's neatly headed back by Jones. And back to De Gea. Notice that the referee just had quite a lengthy word with Patrice Evra. Oh, Rooney's lost the ball on the edge of the Manchester United penalty area. And Benteke's there, and De Gea makes the save. I was just about to say he had a long word with Evra, who's the one player in the game on a yellow card. He's the Manchester United captain. Villa almost sneaked in there.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know...
sloppy again though for Manchester United. More from Steve McLaren in a moment as United give the ball away. 3-0 they lead, closing on the title, the 20th of all, the 13th for Sir Alex Ferguson. El Amadi once more. Manchester United know they've won the game, and Sir Alex Ferguson, interesting, he's just come out now because just a couple of moments of sloppiness, and that'll bring him straight out to the touchline.
He doesn't want this game to go dead. He doesn't want mistakes. He doesn't want to give them an opportunity. He wants to make sure, you know, 3-0 up, look. 3-0 up, still wants to argue about decisions, still wants to win by more, still wants his team to press forward, doesn't want mistakes from his players or officials. That's why he's having a go at the fourth one.
Well, he's also become the master of manipulating media as well. I noticed when we were here for that Manchester derby after the game, they'd lost the game, but he came out and said there were lots of positives. He wanted just to keep everything going in the right direction for the rest of the season, and of course it has. Important win at Stoke, what turned out in the end to be a decent result at West Ham, and now 3-0 up against Aston Villa. Villa having a good spell, but too much to do, one would think. Villa once more with Westwood. Approaches the penalty area. Finds El Hamadi, a sort of lazy swish at the ball with the outside of the foot. Hands the ball straight back to Manchester United, and Valencia tucks it into midfield for Carrick. It's quite conservative at the moment from Manchester United, though. Now Raphael will pick up pace down the right-hand side. Van Persie takes over. Cuts in from the touchline, slides the ball back to Carrick, and Sir Alex Ferguson's looking exasperated. I think there's an air of maybe complacency that he doesn't want about the place here. He wants United to carry on in the same vein, keep the same momentum going.
You're absolutely right, Mike. It's 3-0 it's not the worst score at half-time, but for a manager you want a 90-minute performance and you want that tempo. They're losing the tempo at the present moment. I think Aston Villa have done well. They've got man-to-man in midfield. That has been the biggest one, and they've been sloppy Manchester United on the ball, and he hates that. He hates sloppiness.
Because what we're talking about here underpins him, doesn't it? The hunger, the desire, the drive, the ambition. That's everything that he's preaching, isn't it?
It's, you know, we talked about it when he's lost that on the last day of the season, how devastating. But also, he's like that when they win things. Keep the standards. Yeah. Don't get sloppy. Be professional. And
anybody just coming into the ground now, looking at the manager's body language down there, would think that Manchester United were 2-0 down in this game. But they're not. They're leading 3-0. They've just taken their foot off the gas at the start of the second half, and they've allowed Aston Villa some moments at De Gea's goal. The ball is inside the centre circle. You're listening to 5 Live with Alan Green, Steve McLaren and myself here at Old Trafford. El Amadi now on to Delph. Well, Villa getting the possession. De Gea's had to make a couple of saves, also flapped at one as well. 3-0 to Manchester United. The title is theirs. The performance at the moment isn't what's required from Sir Alex Ferguson. He wants to put on a real show here in front of all the fans. It's a real party atmosphere around the place. All the tension was immediately evaporated by that Van Persie's goal inside the first 90 seconds of the game. Now Loughton. Villa getting more of the ball than Manchester United. Loughton back to El Hamadi, who's been quite bright since he came on. Has the ball once more from Weimann. Benteke moving around on the edge of the penalty area. United filter back, allowing Villa to go forward. Maybe United will try and catch them on the counter-attack here. El Amadi, 25 yards out, moves the ball onto Loughton. Loughton looking to play this ball in once more to El Amadi. Benteke's poised. In comes the cross. It's behind Weimann, and Rooney back inside his own penalty area. It's a very peculiar period of play, this. Manchester United are leading 3-0. Loughton slipped as he got that ball in, and it's an easy save from De Gea.
Yeah, just talking to Alan next to me, he's saying that Alex Ferguson's having a right go at Evra, and I think it's because he's on a yellow card and he's been reckless with some of his challenges, and you need to keep 11 players on the field. The last thing you'll want to do is go down to 10 men against this. But again, look at Aston Villa pressing.
Yeah, Rooney's lost the ball in midfield, and the ball is driven in from Weimann. Benteke, though, just couldn't take that one. Rooney's lost a 50-50 in midfield, and now that was a collision between Johnny Evans and Agbonlahor, which first sight here looked accidental. Referee's going to take any action here against Agbonlahor? No, just a word, and it's the free kick given.
Yeah, I think the change at half-time has really made a difference. You've got Westwood just really marking Kagawa. You've got El Amadi marking Rooney and Delph on Carrick. And they can't get at platform. They can't keep possession now. And Villa are going from that and pressing, as you see there.
If anybody was looking for an insight into what makes Sir Alex Ferguson tick as Van Persie runs offside, it's here and now at Old Trafford. His team in the driving seat with an unassailable lead at the top of the Premier League. They are 3-0 up against Aston Villa. Robin Van Persie scored a hat-trick, and yet he's not happy down up there in the technical area, making it known as well to his players. An air of exasperation as he points and again talks to Rooney this time. Love to hear some of that stuff, I tell you. You could do a thesis on this at the moment.
Well, they're not doing their jobs, and when you're not doing your job, he tells you. And they're not doing the job. They're not getting close with men, they're not getting tight, they're not going with runners. You just saw there, El Amadi ran off Wayne Rooney into the back of him, and Sir Alex was straight there, pointing at Rooney. Stay with your man, stay with your runners. It's important to still do your job, even though you're 3-0 up.
Well, he's always in the past gone on about how important it is to start a game, and they started this game magnificently. They haven't started this second half, though. And he hates anything that's slipshot and below standard. United, his team, worked for everything in the first half to get themselves into a 3-0 lead. We may have changes soon because he's talking to Mike Phelan down there, and maybe he's going to pull a couple off here.
He certainly will, and that's why I said at the beginning the subs will be important, because he'll have them up his sleeve. Anybody not doing it on the field, you'll see them, they'll be off. He did it last week at Upton Park with Wayne Rooney. Wasn't doing the job, off you come. And he'll do it again tonight.
15 minutes gone in the second half. Manchester United, just in case you're joining us and are getting the impression that it's all going pear-shaped here, they're leading 3-0 through a Van Persie hat-trick inside the first 32 minutes. But United just haven't got into the groove at all in the second half. And Rooney now finds Evra down the left-hand side. Maybe he's unlucky because he's the closest to Sir Alex Ferguson down there. But the captain has been getting a bit of grief. Van Persie's been fouled. So, free kick to Manchester United just inside the Villa half. Rooney to come across, that's brave, because he knows if he comes anywhere near the man in the overcoat down there, he'll get a few words of advice, and indeed he does.
There's the finger, Mike. Nobody wants that finger. Pointing straight at you, you are the culprit, you are the one, nobody wants that.
But they're half an hour away from a record 20th league title, 13 in the Premier League in the last 20 years.
Doesn't matter.
No.
That's why they've won by so many points, because he doesn't take his foot off the gas.
Ever.
And he doesn't want his team to do that.
No.
But they are.
Loughton now, ball over the top. Evans a little out of position. Benteke will try and keep this in, close to the dead ball line, and in the end Villa have got a throw in off Evans right by the corner flag. Their fans in the area away to our right, and they've shown decent character in the second half, Villa. They could so easily have subsided 3-0 down, but Paul Lambert has at least got them up again for this second half.
Well, that's what we said at half-time. What do you do? What do you say? Keep the body language positive. He's made a change. That's really helped. He's shored up that midfield. It's not so loose. He's gone man-to-man in midfield. Oh, look, he's making Manchester United kick. They're pressing high. Now they've got a kick, and they're not letting Manchester United settle on the ball.
Well, the manager of Manchester United has now got back to his seat again. And let's see what his team do in the next few minutes without him being on the touchline. 3-0 up. Rooney up against El Hamadi. Rooney for Valencia. Valencia's ball ahead of Rafael. Across comes Ron Vlaar, the captain. We haven't seen anything like as much of Valencia in this second half. Dynamic he was early on against the young fullback Bennett. And a throw-in now for Rafael, who struck the post in that first half, that very one-sided first half. Rafael takes his time. We have played 17 minutes of the second half. United leading through Robin van Persie's first hat-trick at Old Trafford for Manchester United. He got a hat-trick at Southampton earlier in the season. Out of play for a Villa throw.
There's three things you can do at half-time, Mike. It's for Paul Lambert. It's change attitude, it's change personnel, and it's change shape. At the half-time, you've got to think, do I do one of them? Do I do none of them? Do I do two of them or three of them? And he's done all three. He's obviously changed their attitude. They're a lot more positive. He's changed personnel, and he's changed shape with El Hamadi in midfield. And that's really helped. Give him a foothold in the game, and they're having a go.
Valencia just manages to escape his marker. Gets the ball into the penalty area. Giggs knocks it down to Rooney. Rooney's shot strikes a defender. Comes out a little bit more urgency now from Manchester United. It's been a strange, subdued atmosphere in the second half. Van Persie's ball in, Rooney over the bar. But that's far and away the best movement we've had from Manchester United in this first period of the second half.
Well, the manager's come to the sidelines. He's got the message over. He's gone and sat down, and they've perked up a bit. But as you know, Manchester United, every time they go forward, they look like scoring.
Just looking to see what changes may be imminent. Butner maybe, who's the left back, of course, the deputy to Evra. Now he's sitting down again. He had been warming up. Cleverly is certainly warming up. Manchester United 3, Aston Villa 0. All three goals from Robin van Persie. He was brought to the club to make the difference. And has he made the difference? He really has in terms of the Manchester City challenge. Van Persie's got all three. He'll be going to Arsenal next Sunday with the champions. And the ball is on the edge of the penalty area with Johnny Evans. And out comes Mike Phelan now again, so something's not quite right. He's just surveying the scene down there.
It looks like Butner. I think Evra has been in trouble all this second half with Sir Alex, and I think Butner looks as if he's stripping off.
Kagawa hardly mentioned him in this. He was buzzing around before the interval behind Robin van Persie. He's hardly really been in the game.
No, as I said before, you know what Paul Lambert's done is just put Westwood. You stick on him, you stay on him. That's the supply. El Amadi, Delph, get close to Rooney and Carrick, and you stop Manchester United playing. That's what they've done.
He knows, Paul Lambert, that he just has to keep the spirits up. He would have known also realistically anything here tonight would have been a bonus at Manchester United. He knows he has to take the team into the last 4 games still with some momentum. United fans now who've been very quiet, trying to make some noise, trying to lift the side here, leading 3-0. Weimann of Aston Villa, the Austrian player, onto Loughton. Nearly 20 minutes gone in the second half. Loughton back to El Amadi. Loughton once more. Much more noise around Old Trafford. 25 minutes away from them being confirmed as the Premier League champions. And they've scored tonight one of the Premier League goals of the season. Robin van Persie's second, after a magnificent through ball from Wayne Rooney was volleyed in by the Dutchman. Rooney now slides the ball back into defence, and slow initially from Jones, and now Evans. They're just playing within themselves, Manchester United, and that's probably what's irked their manager, Sir Alex Ferguson, who would just wanted a little bit more drive from them. Rooney onto Carrick. Much slower the pace now from Manchester United. Carrick once more, on to Evans. Evans now into Van Persie. Now Evra, given early by Evra. Kagawa gives chase. Paul Lambert appeal for offside. Not given, comes back into midfield for Carrick. Carrick now through to Van Persie. Doesn't control it on the edge of the penalty area. Aston Villa now look to Westwood to clear. 21 minutes gone in the second half. Still 3-0 to Manchester United. That was the half-time score. Now Delph runs a long way with the ball. Delph down the left-hand side, looking for the pace of Agbonlahor. Agbonlahor keeps it in, faced by Raphael. Back now to Delph once more. Back to Agbonlahor. Benteke in the penalty area with Weimann. Villa building down the left-hand side. United with everybody back, apart from Robin van Persie. Villa have to go deeper to Bennett. Infield now to Westwood. They're passing it around without great penetration here, Villa. Vlaar now picks out Loughton just in front of us down the right-hand side. Loughton, 1-2 with Weimann. Villa being closed down here by Manchester United, forced to go a little deeper into midfield. Now Weimann gets a 1-2 and goes into the penalty area. Weimann for Villa, tried to chip the goalkeeper, bent it away from De Gea, and it's gone near the corner flag.
Yeah, good football by Aston Villa. But Manchester United have stopped running. Basically stopped running. Stopped running when Aston Villa have got the ball. They're staying 2-3 yards away from them when they've got the ball. They're not going to close, not front foot. And especially on the ball, when the first half you saw a lot of movement when Manchester United had the ball. Everybody's looking for it, everybody's available. Now, everybody's static. There's no rhythm, no tempo to the game.
Right, Mike Phelan's just spoken to the captain, Patrice Evra. Alan Green is going to commentate. He's going to take you through to what we've been all about really since last August, the Premier League title race, and he's going to see Manchester United over the line.
Without question. It'll be their 20th league title in all, 13 in the Premier League era, and another phenomenal notch on Fergie's bedpost. But he will not be happy with the way the second half's gone. There's not the same intensity to United's game. I mean, perhaps it's inevitable, Steve. Perhaps we're asking too much for them to keep that momentum going from the first period.
We are. And as you say, as a manager, as a coach, you know what the messages are, you know what the dangers are, you know how the game will go. And at 3-0 at half-time, he knows that this game could go flat. The players could stop running, with the ball and without the ball. Once you do that, the opponent starts getting on top. Then you get frustrated. Upon frustration, then you make mistakes, you don't do your job. And that's what's happening. And he doesn't want that. And no matter how much he's on that sideline shouting at the players and screaming at the players, there's not a lot he can do. It's in the players' minds. They've won the game. It's 3-0. Do we need to score anymore? Do we need to do this? The only way you can change it, as we talked about Paul Lambert at half-time, changing attitude, personnel and shape, can he do that just to give them a lift and this crowd a lift and make sure they get a good last 20 minutes instead of it being flat for the whole of the second half.
I should have told you there was a hold in play there because Bennett got a bit of a knock and received some treatment. He's now back on the pitch and the game is resumed. Manchester United lead through Van Persie's 3 goals. Here is the Dutchman playing it to the left side to Giggs. Giggs, who set up 2 of those goals for Van Persie. Giggs rampaging forward towards the Stretford end penalty area into Kagawa, tackled by Vlaar. The ball breaks away. It's going out of play, is it, for a throw-in? It is a throw-in, but according to the assistant on the near side, it's a throw-in to Aston Villa when I think Manchester United thought it was going to be theirs.
Yeah, we actually wondered, I wondered before the game, Giggs playing on the left, I wonder why. I think you saw in that first 20 minutes exactly why.
Well, there was one wonderful moment when he got past Leighton. He's only a kid, And, what, Giggs is what, nearly 40?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
It's like your dad going by you. Embarrassing.
Oh. Yeah, I keep saying that to my son. As if it ever happens. 20 minutes to go here on 5 Live. Manchester United will want to verve themselves up in the remaining minutes. The title is won, we know that. Van Persie on to Giggs, left of the penalty. Giggs checked one way, then the other, crosses, takes a deflection off the defender, loops over the crossbar, under the roof of the net, and it's a corner to Manchester United.
Paul Loughton must have worried then. One-on-one, right inside the box. And here are the changes.
Yeah, Welbeck will be the first of them. Welbeck, who's had a really good season, particularly for England. But perhaps you'd just love to see him score a few more club goals, Steve.
Yeah, that's, but he's only young, and that usually comes at the end. End products, we call it. Score or assist.
Rooney's going to take this corner. Welbeck's being held back for an interstoppage and play. It's played in, goes to, goodness gracious, it was Evans who flicked the ball goalwards, and it was cleared away from the far post, rather. Now there's a push on the Villa player, Agbonlahor, and it's a free kick to Aston Villa. Here comes Danny Welbeck, and he's going to place Wayne Rooney. Great applause for Wayne Rooney, but I'm sure the same guy does not like being substituted.
No, you could see Upton Park, he wasn't happy. He wants to play. He hates coming off. He just wants to go and play, and that's the type of attitude he's got. But I think Sir Alex is sending a message out there, sending a message not just to Wayne Rooney, but to the whole of Manchester United and to everybody, that, if you're not doing well, if you're not doing the job, then you can be changed. No one's infallible.
It's headed forward by Byman and then knocked out of play by Jones for a throw into Aston Villa. So just seeing where Danny Welbeck's taking up position on the sort of left side. Giggs moving in towards Kagawa at the moment, but Villa are on the attack with Benteke. Benteke flicks it forward into the penalty area, headed back by Jones to De Gea, and any danger is averted. 18 minutes to go. 5 Live bringing you this title climaxing game here from Old Trafford. Manchester United 3, Aston Villa 0. United give the ball away. Here's Agbonlahor forward into the United penalty area, past Jones, pulls the cross back, and it's caught by De Gea. I think Jones may have got the slightest of block on that and took the pace out of the cross.
Yeah, good defending by Jones, but again sloppy by Manchester United, and once you've got this sloppiness inside you, it's very, very difficult to get it out.
Here's Van Persie in the centre circle, back to Evans. Evans up to the halfway line, across and into Villa territory, to Evra, the captain, into Welbeck, back to Evans once more, and Evans plays it all the way back to De Gea.
See, look at the movement. There's no movement. Kagawa's too high, Giggs is too high. Manchester United 5 forwards all in a line, so there's no movement, there's no people in between the lines, so they're getting pressed by Aston Villa, being put under pressure as they are there, and hence they're making mistakes from that.
Carrick forward to Evra, onto Welbeck. Welbeck in towards Kagawa, didn't reach the Japanese player, and here's El Hamadi. El Hamadi to the right side, and Leighton, he's been playing well like a right winger in the second half rather than a right fullback. He's midway inside the United half, back to Westwood. Westwood towards Leighton again, but Vyman knocks it into Delph. Delph's first touch took it away from Giggs, but he ran into another United player who now have possession again, United. Kagawa over the halfway line. Van Persie's ahead of him. Valencia's to his right. Hardly seen Valencia over the last 10 or 15 minutes. Valencia into Kagawa, into the penalty area. Got a little nudge there, no penalty kick. Referee's close by. Kagawa regains his footing, regains possession, finds Van Persie. Kagawa once more. Van Persie takes the ball off him, crosses to the near post towards Giggs, and Welbeck headed away well by Aston Villa, and they can come forward now. It's a much better second half from Aston Villa, but United's change down to second gear, never mind third gear, certainly helping the Midlanders. Here they've got the ball on the far side of the field with Benteke into Al Hamadi, the substitute. He shot a goal! Good save by De Gea. It was dipping.
Yeah, that was a perfect example of Aston Villa. Very easily got possession, passed the ball inside to Al Hamadi. Under no pressure whatsoever. Nobody's going towards him. Everybody stood off him. He's allowed him to shoot. And I know Al Hamadi, I've never seen him shoot like that.
It moved and it dipped late, and De Gea forced into a good save. Probably the first good save he's had to make tonight. Villa corner, played in far too deeply by Westwood, but Delph keeps it in play on the far side of the field, the left for Aston Villa. His cross looking for Benteke, headed away by Carrick. United just held back in defence there.
Yeah, not coming out, not out quick enough. Too deep in their own box.
El Hamadi to Westwood, to Leighton, the fullback. Leighton tries to cross, hits a defender. It was Giggs defending inside his penalty. El Hamadi once more, moving forward without a great deal of conviction, and it's cleared to Kagawa. But look how deep Manchester United are. That's a handball. Not spotted. Well, the assistant should have spotted that. I don't blame the referee. There were a lot of players between him and the ball, but the assistant appeared to have a clear view. Anyway, play has continued. We're inside the final quarter of an hour at Old Trafford. 5 Live bringing you Manchester United 3, Aston Villa 0. There will be no dispute. The title will be won tonight. Manchester United gave up on that yesterday, though in truth, such as United's lead, they could have given it up a couple of games ago. Here's Agbonlahor. In now to Vyman. Vyman looking for a Villa player down the right, and Leighton is there. Into Delph. And Delph crosses deep, too deep for Benteke, and it's harmlessly behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, Manchester United lost the shape, and now it's very difficult to turn it around. I'm surprised he's not looked at more substitutes. Just change the personnel, change the attitude, bring some more energy in. Because at the moment, Aston Villa are dominating possession and looking like the ones who are going to score.
Valencia to Van Persie, back towards Valencia. Good work by Valencia. Pulls him out. Kagawa is there. Kagawa must make it 4. What a miss! Well, he pulled the ball inside of the defender. The goal was gaping, and he hits it over the crossbar into the Stretford end.
That was unbelievable. And just when we say that Villa look as though they're in control and look as though they're going to score, Manchester United just up a gear into third, go down the right-hand side. You were just talking about Valencia. We haven't seen him. Fantastic run. Little dink inside. Kagawa's free. Steps inside. One defender. Open goal. I expect him to finish better than that. And maybe that's... I know this boy from Dortmund in Germany, and we played against him when I was at Wolfsburg. He tore us to pieces. And I just thought then he scored a lot of goals. Can he come to the Premier League and still score goals? He needs to do more of that.
Here's Raphael. Running forward on the right side, but he ran into a Villa defender, and Westwood plays it to the right side, and Leighton, Welbeck coming across to cover in to Vyman. Leighton again, trying to find El Hamadi. The pass was slightly underhit. Carrick gets there first, back to Evans, and now Giggs. On to Welbeck, still inside the United half. Near side of the field, Manchester United left. Carrick feeds it back to Evans once more. Ferdinand, by the way, is on the bench tonight. The central defenders were Evans and Jones. The future? Who knows? I think Verdic might have a few years left in him. And Ferdinand will want to play on here at Old Trafford. Who wouldn't? Guarantee of winners' medals. Carrick to Giggs. And back to Evans once more. Yeah. 12 minutes to go.
That's better football.
And Evra up to the halfway line to Welbeck, and Welbeck running away from Leighton.
That's better football.
Peter to Carrick, yes. Good succession of passes from Manchester United. Then that wasn't great to Welbeck. Welbeck's rolling over, clutching his right knee. He keeps rolling, and Villa put the ball out of play. Well, normally when a player is badly hurt, they lie down and stay still.
Yeah, but Welbeck is a tough kid. I've been impressed with Welbeck this season, really grown, and I think I came to the Real Madrid game and they were talking about Rooney, would he play, and who would play in the number 10 position.
I've just seen the challenge, by the way, from Westwood in the replay.
Wasn't good.
And it was awful. It was a raking challenge with his studs down the right leg of Danny Welbeck. I'd be rolling around there. I'd still be rolling around there in pain. That was a bad challenge.
Yeah. But as I was saying, Welbeck's really impressed me. He's come on to the left, but normally I've seen him playing that number 10 position, as I did see him against Real Madrid when Rooney didn't play, and the whole furore was why Rooney didn't play, and he played on Alonso that day just behind Van Persie and played so well. Stopped Alonso playing.
Exceptional,
powerful runner.
Yes.
Got up with Van Persie, had chances to score. Again, needs to score more goals, needs more end product, but really a player who's developed over the last 2 years. One by going out to Sunderland on loan. I know that did him a world of good, and coming back in here, he's got it, elevated his performances, so now he's an England regular and performing very well in any position.
Another Villa change. Kieran Clark has come on. That's pushing Baker to left back, and the player replaced is Bennett. 10 minutes to go at Old Trafford, and well, it hasn't been as good a second half as it was a first half, but then that's to Villa's relief.
Yeah. And to their credit, I've got to say also, you know, you can only play what's put in front of you, and Manchester United, yes, they haven't closed down, they've played with no tempo, they haven't moved really, but Aston Villa have done well, changed their attitudes at half-time, changed the shape, the three in midfield have helped, they've got a foothold, and they can play good football.
Baker, forward tag, Bonlahor, now Benteke in the far side of the field, back to the substitute, Clark, and Clark onto Bonlahor once more on the halfway line towards the Villa left, and making sure it stays in Villa's possession, with Clark into Westwood, guilty of that bad challenge on Welbeck, who's still feeling pain there, I would suggest, not running as freely as he was before the tackle. Here's Leighton, back to Clark, almost put the defender into trouble, but he was forced to just stab the ball upfield away from the danger area, and it's played through to De Gea. Well, it's sort of just running down time now. I did suppose we could have kept that wonderful display of United going in the second period, not when you're 3-0 up.
No.
The urgency's bound to leave you, no matter how frustrated Sir Alex will be at that. Giggs back to Evans, and Evans under a little bit of pressure, but well, confident enough to play the ball through his penalty area to Jones, and on to Rafael on the far side of the field. A busy Brazilian fullback over the halfway line into Valencia to Kagawa. Kagawa let the ball run. Van Persie gets to it, trying to flick it onto Welbeck, but it's intercepted by Westwood, and here's El Hamadi for Aston Villa with Leighton to El Mahadi again, on to Weimann, who scored twice against United in that meeting at Villa Park in November. They were 2-0 up, and then they lost 3-2, and they've lost the ball now, Villa, to Carrick and Giggs. Carrick once more to Welbeck, a little bit of room for Danny Welbeck, and Paul Lambert still screaming instructions in the technical area to Aston Villa. He'll be encouraged by the second half display, and they will need improved form, certainly improved form from their first half display, with the 4 games they've got remaining that'll decide their Premier League life, or otherwise. Will they drop into the Championship? Now it's played to Valencia. Valencia slightly overran it, straight through to Guzan. Guzan was quick off his line. Good goalkeeping. Good throw out to Benteke. Benteke on the halfway line. And that's an excellent pass from the Belgian to the right side, and Leighton. 7 minutes to go at Old Trafford. Manchester United 3, Aston Villa 0, up to the same scoreline at half-time. Weimann trying to get away from Carrick. Stopped by Carrick, but still feeds the ball to the right to Leighton. Into Weimann. Benteke's the only Villa player inside the Manchester United penalty. Played in his direction now. Edge of the box. Flicks it past Rafael. Across comes Evans. Evans takes it away. Benteke makes a challenge. Wins the ball back. Evans tackles again and wins it for Manchester United. Helped out on the far side of the field by Kagawa and Rafael. Looked like a foul on Rafael. The play allowed to continue by the referee. Rafael thought he should have had a free kick. Maybe he should have done. Benteke into Westwood, inside the D, now inside the penalty area. Surely fouled the United defender. Again, it goes unpunished by the referee. But United do have the ball. It's with Van Persie. He does work hard, Van Persie. He's not just a flash down upfield scoring goals.
As we
Look
said,
at him deep in his own half there.
He does that, and he's disciplined. You know, many a forward, when they go back and defend from set plays, and we talked about his clearance off the line, wouldn't do that job. He's 100% professional, does his job.
Valencia for Manchester United, running away from Delph. Baker's across there to try to stop Valencia going further forward, but he's approaching the penalty area now. Drives the ball in, though it actually hit the back of Ryan Giggs. It won't run out of play before El Hamadi gets to it, near side of the field, and he feeds it down the right touchline. Vyman is after it. Vyman's quite quick, running away from Evra, running at Evans, feeds it to Benteke. Back it goes to Agbonlahor, to Benteke, looking for the return ball. Agbonlahor doesn't get it. Wasn't the best of passes from the Belgian, and Manchester United cleared again. Giggs.
The game is what I call gun and run now. It's end to end. There's no midfield. Manchester United attack, it breaks down. Then Aston Villa attack, it breaks down, and it's going end to end at the present moment. And it's building up the last 5 minutes. Quite an open game, and you can see another goal coming.
It's with Danny Welbeck, recovered now from that challenge by Westwood. And United fans cheering every successful pass. It's quite easy to be successful at the moment because they're just trundling the ball 5 to 10 yards amongst the red shirts. On the far side of the field, Raphael into Carrick, onto Welbeck. On the halfway line, right side for Manchester United, soon to be champions of England once more. Carrick, back to Evans, still inside the United half, and then he changes his mind, he runs forward, rushes into Villa territory, but underhits the pass. Carrick though helps out, Carrick plays it forward, Van Persie's offside, and it's a free kick to Aston Villa. 4 minutes to go. Steve McLaren, what do you think? Look, I know it's a sort of pointless argument because it doesn't really matter ultimately. You win the league that you're in. But Sir Alex has said this season he thinks this is the best squad he's ever had. What do you feel about the squad, and what do you feel about the regular 11s that he picks?
Well, it's a very strong squad, as always. You know, I watched the game against Real Madrid, and they should have won that game. And so the season would have been a lot better, not just this league title, but going further in Europe. And I think that will disappoint in Europe and the FA Cup, not winning one of them or going further in that competition. But this is the one he wanted to win. And he wanted to win it with style, and he wanted to make sure that Man City really knew from last season how much they'd improved and gone on, and that's what he's done, so I'd be pleased with that.
He'll want them to concentrate now, Manchester United, because they conceded a free kick to Aston Villa. Given the angle, it's about 25 yards from goal, slightly to the left, as El Hamadi looks at it. He's favoured to strike the free kick. De Gea's crouching, a foot in front of his goal, played in straight at the goalkeeper. Easy catch for him. Well, he got it over the wall and down, but not at an angle that troubled the Spanish goalkeeper. Here's Carrick from Manchester United to Valencia, and once more Evans, and the cheers go up as United string the passes together. Welbeck running away from El Hamadi, trying to pull him down actually. Welbeck did well, he's over the halfway line. Kagawa back to Carrick, on via Giggs to Valencia. Great run by Raphael down the right. They're waiting, the red shirts inside the penalty. Played in, Welbeck goes to meet it. Flower heads it behind for a corner.
Yeah, I think the frightening thing, you talk about the squad and you talk about this season and the team. I think there's more to come from this team. I think there's great experience in there with Ferdinand and Giggs and Scholes and Carrick and Vidic. But I also think there's great youngsters coming through, and he's played these youngsters.
Giggs takes the corner to Kagawa, back to Giggs. On the far side, Manchester United right, to Raphael. Raphael's cross takes a deflection, and there's another corner imminent for Manchester United. We've got 2 minutes to go before we have added time. There'll be no trophy presentation tonight. The trophy's being held back, not for the Chelsea game here, but for the Swansea City game here. But they can wait. They know it's coming their way. Corner played in towards the near post, towards Carrick. Carrick plays it back towards Evra, but it's headed away by Vlaar. And then Byman is tackled comfortably by Jones and it's with Raphael from Manchester United. Inside the centre circle, now Jones to Evans. Evans turns back to look in the direction of De Gea, but only flicks the pass instead to Jones. On to Raphael. Jones once more. They're just playing out time now, Manchester United. Or maybe they still fancy another goal. They're certainly capable of it. They, in the first half, looked capable of 5 or 6. 3 was scant reward for the way they played. But Byman takes it up now for Aston Villa. On to Agbonlahor. El Hamadi to his left. Agbonlahor's ignored again. Playing it to Baker. Now the left fullback. He played most of the game tonight in centre of defence. His cross in wasn't great. Easily cleared by Jones. And Welbeck beats Leighton in the tackle. 30 seconds of regular time remaining. Welbeck over the halfway line, rushing forward. And now he checks inside Leighton. Plays it back to Kagawa. Kagawa will, it seems, finish the game to the light of the Japanese media assembled at Old Trafford tonight, as they always are assembled at Old Trafford. Raphael to Valencia, right side of the penalty area. Checks, might have crossed first time, changed his mind. Now he can dig in the cross. High, looking for Welbeck. Blar heads it clear, and Villa headed further clear. El Hamadi. Here comes the fourth official, and we've got 2 minutes of added time. Byman rushes after it. He's got beyond ever. He's into the penalty area now. Byman pulls the ball back, but not to a Villa shirt, only to Jones, and Jones flicks it out of play for a throw into Aston Villa.
I just wonder whether at the end of the game, and I'm reflecting after the game, Paul Lambert will think maybe I should have started with El Hamadi in midfield, started with the 3. I think with the front 4 that he had, it was loose, it was attacking, it was adventurous. It didn't work in the second half with the 3 in there with El Hamadi. It's given them a platform. I know they're 3-0 down and Manchester United have stopped, but he will be reflecting and thinking, should I have maybe started the game like that with a better platform than the first half?
Great acclaim from the United fans now as Van Persie feeds it to Welbeck, a yard outside the Villa penalty area. Looking behind him, where's the support? It's coming up from Giggs. United have slowed down markedly in the second half. Champions, the cry comes up from the home fans. Well, we knew it from the first 90 seconds of the game when Van Persie scored the first goal, and then that fantastic second goal. He went on to complete a hat-trick. Now he's trying to set one up for Welbeck. It hit a Villa defender, the pass, and it's back to Guzan. Guzan throws it out near side of the field. 30 seconds before the general acclaim of the Manchester United fans. 75,500 inside Old Trafford tonight. Apart from the Villa contingent, they're all singing at the moment. El Hamadi to Agbonlahor. Agbonlahor from El Hamadi again. And now Leighton. Will the game finish with Villa in possession? El Hamadi to Agbonlahor. It's given away. Carrick finds Giggs. Giggs gives it away. And now it's with Leighton. Going through the motions of the final few seconds. We've had the 2 minutes of added time. Referee Taylor's looked at his watch. A second glance, blows his whistle. And Manchester United, for the 13th time in the era of the Premier League, for the 20th time overall, are deserved champions of England. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to the imperious Sir Alex. What a trophy cabinet he has assembled here at Old Trafford.
Absolutely fantastic. And for the supporters, again, we talked about they don't get flippant. They're just like Sir Alex. They don't take it for granted. They got upset last season. They've made amends well by winning this league well. Won this game in the first 10 minutes with 2 great goals. First half was sublime. Best Manchester United at its best. The second half, frustrating. Sir Alex will want good football. He didn't get that really in the second half. That's what will disappoint him. But thoroughly deserved. Aston Villa, as we said, maybe could have set up differently in the first half. Lost this game, but the second half, 0-0. So for the last 45 minutes, he'll come out with a bit of pride. They can move on, and they can say, well, we can win the next few games and still get out of this.
The United players are celebrating in the penalty area. Wait them all right. Sir Alex is too old now to rush onto the pitch himself. I've seen him do that many times in the past, you know, Steve. I'll never forget the joy of Sir Alex and Bran Kidd when Steve Bruce scored those 2 late goals against Sheffield Wednesday here. They were delirious on the pitch. He's calmed down a bit now, but he still savours another wonderful triumph, not just for his team, his club, but for him as a manager.
Absolutely, and every trophy he wins, that's all he's concerned about, it's all he's bothered about, but also winning it with a certain style, and he's won it with style this season. With the addition of Van Persie, you know, he went all out to make sure he got that player. That's added to the style of Manchester United, and that's how they've won it. That's what will please him the most, as he gingerly walks to the centre spot in sheer delight with Mike Phelan and his staff, and he'll thank his staff. His staff have been magnificent. They're the people, they do all the work. He is the master, he's in the helicopter, he just looks down, delegates to everybody. It's a great team, it's a great club, and thoroughly deserves this championship.
He's in the centre circle at the moment, but that's as close as you should get, Sir Alex, because the players in their delight might be daft enough to lift you, throw you up in the air on Jose Mourinho, and then catch you. Not at 71. Don't even attempt it. Just savour the moment. Another great triumph for this great club. Manchester United, champions of England yet again.
Fantastic.
And the first player that goes to Sir Alex Ferguson out of that group, because all the players celebrated to the right in the penalty area. Alex Ferguson, as Alan and Steve said, alone in the centre circle for a while, and the first person, Steve, that went to give him a hug and celebrate with him from the playing staff was Robin Van Persie.
And the second one was Ryan Giggs, and that epitomises Manchester United this season. In fact, you know, the way that we talked about recruitment before, and bringing in special players, and they have to be special. When they join they have to be special. And Van Persie is special. We've seen that tonight. We've seen it all season. I think we saw it at Stoke, that first little recognition of they're in love with each other. After the Stoke goal, he jumped on his back. I think Ferguson's told him less of that. Save my back. I'm too old for that. But I think one of true respect of two people coming together, a manager and a player, looking in the eyes, respecting each other, know that each other, they've done a job for each other that has been tremendous.
The players with their celebratory flags and the backroom staff are congregated at the moment in front of the Sir Alex Ferguson stand that is opposite us here at Old Trafford. The phone lines are open now. It's not just us that could take calls. Tony Livesey will probably do more of the phone calls from 10:30 because we have a lot to fit in, but the phone lines are open now. 0500 909 693. 0500 909 693. You can drop us a text as well, 85058. The players will do a lap of honour. There's no trophy presentation this evening. Whatever the reasons for that, it does seem slightly odd, doesn't it, Steve, that on the night you win the title, the trophy is kept back for later on in the season.
Well, everybody knows they're going to win it tonight. So it should be there on the hand anyway. And it would make the whole evening better. It would make the whole experience better. When you do it in a few weeks, it's flat, it's gone. Celebrate what? It's over. And what more can they win? So that for me is very, very disappointing. What a great evening this would be with that performance in the first half, the way that they've won it, and to celebrate it with a trophy. For these supporters on the night, that's what they've paid for. They've come here to see Manchester United win and to see the trophy, and they haven't.
The players have moved on to in front of the Stretford end at the moment. They're in a long line with their arms around each other. They're bouncing up and down. The Stretford end reciprocated by bouncing up and down. There are flash bulbs everywhere you look around Old Trafford. So as well as the celebrating, it's important for those fans to take photographs as United go around. So it's interesting, Steve, as well, that as the players went to celebrate in one group, Alex Ferguson down below us in that technical area made a point of gathering all the backroom staff together.
Oh, they're the most important people to him. Once you're in that backroom staff, you're part of the family, and he treats you like part of the family. And he is the father, he is the leader, and he is the one that looks after them, delegates to them, gives them their jobs. I always remember the first day I went in and said, Gaffer, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to work on? And he said, I brought you here to coach, son. Go out there and coach. And that was fantastic. That gave me so much freedom and so much of a boost that he trusted me that I could do the job, and said, go out and do the job. And that's what he does to the backroom staff. They are so important. That trust is a big, big word that he has in his management, that he gives to not just the players to go out and play, but to the staff to go and do the job.
He's trying to dance at the moment to Not 19 Forever, which is being played on the PA, sandwiched in between Rafael and Valencia. I was watching the Manchester United players as the referee Anthony Taylor put the whistle to his lips. The first player to put his arms in the air was Phil Jones, whose face was the iconic memory for a lot of people from 12 months ago at the Stadium of Light when he thought they'd won the title and they hadn't.
That's it, and you know, that's the catalyst. That's why they've won this by a big margin this early. It's because of a day like last season. And they will see them pictures, they will be imprinted in their minds. Sir Alex will make sure that they know about it. Every day after that game, they will have been building towards this season, towards getting this trophy back, and towards making sure that the neighbours are put in their place.
Quite a lot of Aston Villa fans have stayed behind as well in the visitors section to watch Manchester United players continue to celebrate away to the left in front of the Stretford end. We'll have plenty more chat both about United and Aston Villa before 10:30. 0500 909 693. We're going to take calls as well. Just a word though now before we go to the 10 o'clock news on Aston Villa's second half performance. You said at half time that Paul Lambert could use their performance, if they performed in the second half, as a platform for their final few games.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the message. Go in there. It's a second half game. It's 45 minutes. Do not lose this game. Come in with a draw, even win it, but do not come in losing this second half. And they've done that. He made a tactical change, personnel change, attitude change. They had a goal. So he'll be buoyed by that. And all credit to them. They've come out with it, and they'll look now to the next 4 games. We've got a chance.
Well, it's surprising that We Are the Champions is being played over the tannoy at the moment. I'm sure we'll get Black Eyed Peas. Oh, what a feeling as well.